picking people up and all that. So anyway, we all get together and we put this program together where we hope say una go appreciate and enjoy. And we decide where we put our program there together, we come up with a theme. Well, actually, we get this symposium theme when Wanan Bangul not a shake. Wanan Bangul not a shake. We get different interpretations of that. My interpretation is, it takes we all forget this culture back, on the road. And get things going again. Not to one person, not to two people. We all collectively get for them. Other people then get different interpretations as well. And then the main theme of this symposium, where we panelists then go to discuss the impact of the Krios in post-independent Sierra Leone in the following areas: history and politics, education and culture, business and entrepreneurship, health, then health science. We don't put together some people that were very knowledgeable in their areas. They're experts in their field. So we're gonna they can form this panel. The first part of the symposium will involve people that we go talk about, past and present Krio business. Then we pertain to this. Then the second part, in we effort to get the young people that are more involved in the culture and know what they do, we ask them, say, okay, we all did on the last leg of we life on this earth. Now when I get for takeover, so let them tell how they suggest, say, then for continue for run with this thing. We call that part the pass the baton. So first, what I go do, I go talk about, invite the first set of panelists then for camp. Then I go tell and I give a brief, description of them. Dr. Sylvia Macaulay King. Are you here? Oh yes. Can you please come and take a seat? Mr. Desmond Fraser. Mr. Charlie Hafner. I don't see it. And Ms. Rosalind Jones. Anyway, hopefully then go join me. So let's tell you a little bit of about them people there. Good enough for see waiting up here now. Sylvia, can you adjust it? Please. Okay, anyway, I'll read some of it. The people here, they're so get boku sense. I asked them, say, let them send me short bio of themselves. But they're so good and they don't do so much that the short bio will not be too short. So we begin for cut some of them down. I hope say we capture the main essence of all their accomplishments, all waiting and under. I will start with Dr. Sylvia Macaulay King. I read in English. You're currently a professor of history and former chair of the Africana Studies Department and former interim associate dean at California State University at Northridge. Before that, she was professor of history at Truman State University in Missouri and visiting assistant professor at Georgetown University in Washington, D.C. She has also taught at Frabe College and the University of Ghana at Legon. She served as the inaugural executive director of the National Association of Sierra Leoneans in North America, NOSLINA, from 1997 to 1999. Dr. Macaulay King received her bachelor's degree from Frabe College, University of Sierra Leone, and her master's and doctoral degrees from Howard University. Her most recent book, co-edited, is entitled Paradoxes of History and Memory in Post-Colonial Sierra Leone. When I see why we choose them for Can't Talk. All right. The next person is my very good friend, my buddy. I think I can claim him as my best friend, Mr. Desmond A. Fraser. He's a skilled engineer and entrepreneur from Sierra Leone. It's about electromagnetics engineering and developing hardware design and non-thermal plasma systems. He is the founder, president, and chief technical officer, right, of Rhine Tech Systems, Rhine Tech Laboratories Incorporated. A successful company started 35 years ago. I'll take them up. 35 years ago, that specializes in electromagnetic engineering, radar, and non-thermal plasma products development for commercial clients and the Air Force. I hope say this not over well. In his long list of accomplishments, he is an inventor. He is a patent holder. He holds several patents. And he has been the co-founder of, and is still the chief technical advisor to various technology-related Virginia-based companies. He also served as technical expert for the United States federal government and in various areas. Mr. Fraser holds a diploma in engineering from Germany in EMC, electromagnetic engineering, and laboratory engineering as well. So please give a hand for Mr. Charlie Hafner. You know, come it, but I could still tell now what I be. You don't come? Oh, okay, great. Mr. Charlie Hafner is Sierra Leone's foremost theater artist. Excuse me, I get for sit down. Because here they read the cut small. And he has over 40 years of full-time theater activism worldwide as a playwright, a songwriter, an oral historian, a tutor, an actor, a composer, and a publisher. He is the founder and proprietor of Sierra Leone's most incredible, extensively traveled and award-winning performance troupe, the Freetown Players, founded in 1985. He is an exponent of the history, literature, arts, education, cultural heritage of the Salone Krio people. That's why he's here. He has worked extensively in the use of Krio folk songs and drama in developing and motivating perseverance, character, and patriotism in Sierra Leone. Mr. Hafner has won several national and international awards and has been awarded Sierra Leone's highest national award, the Officer of the Order of the Roquelle. He recently served as chairman, Monuments and Relics Commission in Sierra Leone. So please give it up for our next panelist is Ms. Rosalyn Jones. Is she here yet? Anyway, let me tell you a little bit about her. She's currently a family nurse practitioner here in the DFW area, Dallas-Fort Worth area. And she graduated from having graduated from Magai College of Education and Technology in Freetown. She taught for several years back in Freetown, Sierra Leone, and the Gambia, before emigrating to the US in 1995. Ms. Jones holds a Master's of Nursing Family Practice degree and is a certified wound care specialist from the American Board of Wound Management and specializes in wound ostomy and continence care. In addition to her regular job here in the US, she is already giving back to Sierra Leone as a volunteer healthcare provider for the following organizations: Caritas, Sick Pekin Project, KDU Global, and Sisters of Sierra Leone. Ms. Jones is also the co-owner of Sierra Healthcare Network. She's been doing that for a while. So I'll stop here for now. Our next part, the second half of our program, the moderator would, tell you about who those people are. So we go start with this Dr. Sylvia Macaulay King.
Friday, yes. Friday now. So far, so good. We get it inside. Yeah, we meet new members, then we are not even see. So they get it inside.
Oh, good. So yesterday I see you enjoy the meeting with people. I say, oh boy, this is a message they go. So are you people always carry through now? I don't have the whole feel.
They always some of them now. So with myself, who can at this symposium just can get a good time. Yeah, everybody feel good. Yeah. This is Mrs. Matapolet Coca.
Thank you,
Mrs. Ola Davis, Mr. Ibrahim Lamy, and Abraham Dan Lamy.
Yeah. Oh, good. Well, one for telling me thank you. I know say they walk you in out to the symposium.
Yes.
Thank you for stopping by.
15 years ago, 2008,
that is no more this.
The very first
global
reunion, which was the brainchild of Mrs. Cassandra Baba, and was held here in Dallas. I feel lucky and blessed to be able to return to Texas 15 years later for another KDU Global Reunion.
Mike, yes, you
There are a few KDU members
the camera
that inaugural reunion in 2008 who are no longer with us today.
Yes, Auntie T, good morning.
I recall the joy.
I see you do you get self, you get you that. Today. How everything so far from who say you don't come from? Who say you don't come?
I still have the photo we took together at the laundry sink that day. I also remember meeting the lady.
Exactly. Not anymore. Well, thank you. And see yesterday, which you comment for yesterday because I see the interact, they really enjoy the meet and greet yesterday.
Oh, and I meet so many people want to for long. So it was
very, very, very good as we came. We don't argue, we don't upskill, we don't upskill, small. So it was really, really good. I enjoyed it.
You must enjoy because I know say pattern I dey do you. I see pattern no left you. Anytime go now and glove. Yes, it is inside. For me, attitude, I want to tell you thank you for we stop by to Bayard Road. And I also now they walk you inside for symposium. Thank you so much, man.
You're very, very appreciative.
Yeah.
Yeah, people don't feel we can take to this one.
Yes.
So take it.
Thank
Yeah, we
you.
don't reach you.
We don't reach. Thank you, attitude.
Justice to that topic in 15 minutes. Because even though Krio representation in politics since independence has been
So,
when compared to other ethnic groups,
the Pambole, this is Alaji Brahma. Alaji Brahma.
names have been clearly synonymous
Alaji Brahma, good morning, sir. Good morning, sir.
Good morning. How are you?
How do you do? Fine. Tell God, thank you. Well, who want for welcoming to your Road and I to say they walk you to the symposium. So, from Musta, you don't call Alaji Brahma.
Well, I don't know since last
From Thursday. So, how you enjoy Friday when I yesterday the meet and greet, and I know say they ready for go.
everything felt you know, there was a little bit delay in the opening, but everything worked out well. All the chapters were represented, and they were represented in numbers, which is what we're looking at. We also had it easy for everybody to interact with each other. We know people, we talk to people, that's what the meeting is. And I think that in addition to that, we can shake food. Anywhere we say, we shake food. We do a creative. That's what we enjoy. So that's
So talking about we do like people, how you feel for Pastor Palam yesterday? Because it look like now you get the show on that area.
about the list of the list of the first is that this list includes the names of both the Christian and Muslim politicians.
and I really feel proud that
Because I
we
want
passed
to
that
further
Palam
reinforce
to Texas.
that historians
Well, thank you so much, Alaji Brahma, for stopping. But I don't say you go for the symposium. We go join the symposium now. Thank you, sir.
in fact, a Muslim couple
No bad, man. I said, so thank you.
not just as a cabinet member for many years, but was also for a brief while Deputy Prime Minister of Serbia. As a result, any discussion
Yeah.
of trios in
Not
politics
selling the
or
same.
anything else
Then
for
get
that
table.
matter
Why are they
not
calling
be
it pick up?
complete
Yeah, it now mean about person.
understanding
No,
of
I'm
the
not saying
role
about
played
posting.
by
This one not the work.
both
All my
Christian
complain. I
and
don't know what I know the game.
No, this not from where they back home.
The second salient point that this list of
So,
real reveals
Ronnie, the
is
thing
that
is,
I don't
among the
work with
few
Brand.
who have participated in politics
Oh,
in
thank you. I like first when they tell me say I
anybody
want.
will come. I don't say you want
have been
anybody will
men.
come on Boston. Good looking.
Since
Who you marry to in
1951,
Now,
when
Claudia, I mean,
political
yes, sir, I want to show you, but you know they.
started in Sierra Leone, political parties have come to play a dominant role in deciding who gets to participate in the political sphere, and that decision has very often been biased in favor of the men. But that has not deterred, and we cannot ignore, the handful of brave and courageous women who, despite tremendous odds, have also contributed to local and national politics in Sierra Leone since universal suffrage was achieved in 1957. And so, rather than using my time here today to continue perpetuating the stereotype that politics is for men only, I would like to spend the next few minutes as a woman and a gender scholar highlighting the contributions of a few examples of unforgettable women in our political history. I will use the words of the motto in the Sierra Leone coat of arms: unity, freedom, justice, to analytically frame their stories. To start with, I posit here that Constance Cummings-John's political career epitomized the first word in Sierra Leone's motto, unity. Although her political activism started during the waning days of British colonial rule, it lasted into the early post-independence period. She worked with Pan-Africanist leaders like I.T.A. Wallace Johnson, and with the help of the West African Youth League, she became the first woman in Africa elected to a municipal council. She opened a school for girls and used her political platform to advocate for the education of all girls, Krio and non-Krio, because she believed that education was the key to political empowerment. To further her political activism, she joined one of the two major political parties, SLPP, and co-founded the Sierra Leone Women's Movement with the goal of uniting all women for a stronger movement that will help the push for independence. Through the Sierra Leone Women's Movement, she championed the causes of women, including market women, and encouraged them all to work together for economic success and bridge the ethnic. She also served as editor of the Sierra Leone Women's Movement's newsletter, which gave voice to the women's views and concerns. She was one of the first women to compete and win her election in 1957, but who, unfortunately, was not allowed to take her seat in the Legislative Council because she was undermined by the male-dominated political machinery of her own party. Undeterred, almost a decade later, she was vindicated when she was appointed mayor of Freetown in 1966, making her the first woman to head a municipality. Her political impact was officially recognized last year when the Bank of Sierra Leone decided to put her image on the new 20 Leone bill. Although this trail of Krio women heading a municipality was initially cleared by Cummings-John in 1966, it took over a decade before the next female, Dr. June Holst-Ronez, would follow in her path as mayor of Freetown under the APC. After Mayor Ronez's 3-year term ended in 1980, the council reverted to a long period of Krio male leadership under mayors Alfred Akibo Betts from 86 to 93, Winstanley Johnson from 2004 to 2008, Herbert George Williams from 2008 to 2012, and Franklin Body Gibson from 2012 to 2018. Unfortunately, after Mayor Ronez, the city had to wait for another 40 years to welcome just the third female and Krio mayor of Freetown, and that is the current occupant of the seat, Mayor Yvonne Akisoya, who has been mayor since 2018. While Constance Cummings-John's career could be said to epitomize the word unity in the motto, Nancy Dolly Steele's career, it could be argued, represented the word freedom in the motto. Nancy Steele, nee Grant, had her nationalist feelings awakened in England in the 1950s, where she had gone to study nursing and where she first experienced racial discrimination. This led her to join politically oriented organizations like the Sierra Leone Student Union and later the London branch of the All People's Congress, APC, following formation of the party in opposition to the then governing SLPP party. Nancy Steele wholeheartedly believed in the stated mission of the APC, which, as expressed in the words of the preamble of the APC Constitution, was, quote, to organize the common people and tend the masses in the struggle for the attainment of national independence, end quote. Her political ideology was often described as Marxist socialist, having been influenced by leaders as Kwame Nkrumah of Ghana, whom she knew personally, and the Pan-African trade unionist I.T.A. Wallace Johnson. After returning home from her studies abroad, she soon noticed that women were absent from the political sphere, but realized that women were needed for nation building after having attained freedom from our colonial masters. Nancy Steele worked with a small group of women and co-founded the National Congress of Sierra Leone Women in 1961 to, as their bylaws put it, quote, bring all progressive women of Sierra Leone together, regardless of tribe, religion, or class, end quote. As its charismatic and dynamic organizing secretary, Nancy Steele had the most important role in that association in terms of administration and decision-making. She was instrumental in increasing the membership of the National Congress by offering services which catered to the needs of women from all walks of life. She worked tirelessly and traveled extensively to recruit women and open new branches across the country. By increasing the membership of the National Congress through inaugurating new branches across the country, Steele was, in effect, helping to recruit women to the APC party, which ultimately helped Shaka Stevens form his government in 1968 as leader of the party. By the early 60s, it appeared as if the opposition APC party had learned from the mistake of the SLPP in the 1950s and had chosen instead to fully embrace female participation in politics by enshrining it in their new constitution. So, rather than undermine prospective female candidates, as was the case with Cummings John earlier, the APC actively collaborated with the National Congress under Steele's leadership, and the party even made provision for female representation at various levels in the organization. Through her role as organizing secretary, Nancy Steele effectively functioned not only as the liaison between the various branches of National Congress, but also between National Congress and the APC Central Committee, and was therefore able to ride this new wave of political freedom for women. She was described as an astute arbitrator who also played the role of troubleshooter and mediator as needed to keep the organization together. By 1970, the National Congress claimed to have opened 27 branches with a total membership of about 35,000 across the country. With the full backing of her party, her success became evident by 1962 when she won her first municipal election
President for Krio, Ohio, and my name is Cynthia Robin Kamara, and there we can support with sister them.
Cynthia, una almost welcome from Ohio.
Now we 16 come from Ohio.
Wow.
Yes.
Very impressive.
Now first time this we attend the family union inside this KD, because it's now we third year who don't join KDU where Ohio chapter come on, and we also eager we all one come for can support and we one can see, because then tomorrow one part will be the chair for the global.
My God, well, what you don't see so far? So far, what you don't see? Now, what you want to expect?
Yes. What we see now we expect, because not all time you could expect the great things. We are all human. We all are human beings. We want a mortal man. We make mistake, we correct her, and we learn. Okay. And I will tell you, say from who came yesterday, we learn a lot.
So, thank you. And also, you're ready for go inside the symposium now. We'll get wonderful speaker there inside it. By God power, when all thing done, I will interview you back, where you go tell we waiting, you go tell family them waiting you take from the symposium, from waiting the speaker then say. I hope say that's okay with you.
Thank you. Best to best. Until I say I like your road so far, best and learn a lot from your road. So I go ready for the interview, the second interview, okay? So Pangolem, Natata Oyada, gonna the symposium.
Thank you very much.
Welcome.
It is difficult to speculate as to what more Nancy Dolly Steele, a Krio woman, could have done to advance democracy and women's empowerment in Sierra Leone had she not been undermined by the very party establishment that she worked to build up for many years. Upon reflection on her nearly 3-decade-long career in politics, especially as a Krio woman in politics, what becomes clear is that by the early 70s, her increasing political clout, her willingness to openly criticize her party and its leaders, and her strong constituent base in the National Congress started to be viewed more as a threat to Shaka Stevens and the male-dominated political establishment of the APC, rather than the ally that Steele had been led to believe she was for many years prior, since she co-founded the National Congress of Sierra Leone Women. The third and final case study I will touch on today embodies the justice word in Sierra Leone's motto and leads me to reflect on the political career of another trailblazing Krio woman, Dr. Christiana Thorpe. In addition to her Catholic faith, which led her to join the convent immediately after finishing high school, she credits the...
Right here, so with me, I get allergy. I dey make it introducing self, but I know say in a big alejo na KDU Maryland. Alaji morning, sir.
Good morning. How are you?
Tell God thank you. Tell family them who that you be.
Alaji Aliyu Algali from Canteen Street, number 9 Canteen Street, Foabe.
Okay. What's in your position at KDU Maryland?
You know, the vice president for KDU Maryland. We get a Christian president when Miss Euphemia Williams, and I'm the vice president for KDU Maryland.
I guess for say congratulations, because I understand say they just elect you as vice president, right?
That's correct.
What's in the feel like for be vice president?
Well, I've been supporting them from the back, from the rear. We are planning to be able to host 2025, so they want all the workmen them for come to the front. So this is the motivation for me accepting the position, to be able to help and make sure say where we on term reach, we will do better than waiting others than we don't do before.
How long you don't be member of KDU?
I believe since we started the Maryland organization, I've been a member, and in that capacity, I was the one that was leading the Muslim prayer as chaplain.
Okay. What thing you get for say for the the Muslim brother and sister them where they in the fence, where no one joined KDU yet? What you get? First message you get for tell them?
Well, we all have to come together, because we are stronger in numbers. So if we not join on for fight the fight, for maintain the tradition and culture, so we're going to pass them on to the next generation of KDU, Aku, Krio, and Nasara Krio, because our children, most of them were born outside of Freetown, Sierra Leone. So the only way we can maintain the culture is to teach the Pikindem how rich and how sweet and how wonderful we foreparents them, and we grandparents them, and we own parents them, teach us and pass on this beautiful, Creole culture to us. Okay,
Alaji, I can't put you in the spotlight right now. Tell we what you they do for bring them people and they come and KDU.
Well, for my own part, I try for recruit one person at a time, and I'm passing on the tradition to my own Pekin. My own Bobo, my own Pekin having to be a man, so I'm able to teach them from a man perspective how Pekin for become a man. It's from an alpha male to another alpha male in the making. My own wife, Ingo able to teach other people them from a woman perspective how Pekin they mold into becoming a true mama. You can be a woman, but not all women can be a mother.
That's right. You can become
and you can be a father.
And with some external funding, began by restructuring NEC with the goal of making it more transparent in its operations and improving its overall credibility with the Sierra Leonean public. Among other things, she embarked upon staff capacity development, modernization, acquisition of new elections technology, and changing outdated election laws. She worked with educational institutions, civil society organizations, the press, the security service, community and religious leaders, and NEC's international partners. Within 2 years, Dr. Thorpe was able to successfully turn the tide at NEC, so that by the time the next presidential and parliamentary elections were held in 2007, they were universally hailed as the best elections ever in the country. She followed that up with more credible and transparent local elections in 2008 and repeated the feat again during the presidential elections in 2012. She eventually retired from NEC in 2014, and since her departure, electoral standards have slowly but steadily reverted to the bad old days. The significance and impact of what Dr. Thorpe achieved at NEC was brought to light after the recently concluded 2023 presidential and parliamentary elections. We all recall how Mr. Kone, the current Chief Electoral Commissioner, went on television and announced the results of the election in less than 10 minutes without providing the accompanying polling data broken down precinct by precinct, as is the standard best practice. At that shocking event, many of us were forced to wistfully recall back to the good old days of Chief Electoral Commissioner Thorpe, who would be on TV for hours, flanked on either side by her deputy and other commissioners, while displaying spreadsheets of precinct by precinct data as she announced the results for each election. Her dedication to ensuring fair and just elections at NEC for nearly a decade earned her many prestigious awards, both locally and internationally, that helped put Sierra Leone and Krio women on the map. Since her retirement from NEC, Dr. Thorpe has continued her work for justice and peace through her NGO called the Reaching for the Stars Foundation, which provides legal assistance, counseling, and scholarships to young women interested in attending and graduating from university, because she believed that, quote, a majority of the answers to our problems lies in education, education of women in Sierra Leone, end quote. From this brief analysis, I have tried to show that despite their small numbers overall, Christian and Muslim Krios have indeed impacted the history and politics of Sierra Leone in various ways and to varying degrees, ranging in service from a deputy prime minister to cabinet minister to mayor of a municipality to chief electoral commissioner. I have also argued that although fewer Krio women have been politically active since independence, their service has been just as impactful for national development. The takeaway here is not that a few Krio women tried and frequently failed. The lesson to be learned from this history, instead, is that there were a few brave Krio women who even dared to try and participate in the face of tremendous odds. It is therefore my hope that this brief history of courageous Krio women in politics will inspire our Krio youths, especially the KDU young generation, to consider throwing their respective hats in the political ring. This way, we will be able to add the other missing proverbial bangle that are needed for us to collectively shake and make melodious noises that will ultimately help close the gender gap while moving our country forward in a more democratic and positive light. I thank you for your attention.
Thank you, Dr. Macaulay King. I told you guys that, we're going to get an in-depth, lecture, give us a lot of information about, the impact of Krios in Sierra.
Edna, tell family them who that you be and whose chapter you there and why you there so today.
Okay, my name is Edna. I belong to KDU North Carolina chapter. I'm there today because I get them Krio dolls here, we wear them prints, where they display with African culture. So I always try to take them go to the KDU global events because then dolls here, we they wear them prints here, with the tie we aid. Sometimes the people they don't know how the prints originate. So the dolls then get the name tag when a Krio name with the meaning, and the back of the card, it tells you the origin of the print. So it's very educational for the little ones. We don't know about the culture, then go learn about the culture, then go learn about the prints, how the different prints then come about, the different colors, and the different designs. So it's just teaches the culture, and people then can love the dolls there. And me enjoy for Duam because I used to love playing with dolls.
Yona Salono, Udoyeri Gambia, Aku, Pidgin, Nigeria, Cameroon, you name it, Ghana, they all scatter all over the world. But we did talk here about Krio of Sierra Leone. Onakushe. Then I really tongue 2000, I wonder almost in there 2000, 2001, 2010 been the salon. We Bokunaya. I don't see Auntie Nimata. Bokunaya? No, they don't tell una come una left. I left we on the read. On the sun, on the blackout. Then this year we get blackout so much. I go buy goose. I don't pass me I don't see the cool goose yonder. I go to a big market, the cultural center of Krio, just below the cotton tree, we just for them, who will not show interest. I go there for go buy goose. The last goose na free on our meat day. They don't old. That's I get for go crop and put oil with sand and get them before I will iron with them. All don't go. Everybody kushe, I wanna do me na chale afna, yeah, me people them. I mean, him not Talia Fino. We sabi that one day. Not also Talia Fino. I don't get lots of introduction, but one thing we clear up my introduction is one. Mina oral educator, oral traditional man. Education, my history is oral. I know they read book for talk, so really I'm not getting that chance for read. I don't read boku. I know they read book for talk about Sierra Leone culture, Sierra Leone history at all. So anytime I go for talk, I tell them, please. I know they quote Socrates. I know sabi Socrates. I know they quote nobody. I talk from my own personal experience in Sierra Leone for over 50 years of theater, arts, education, practice in the country and around the world as well. So that's why they talk. Today, boku of the answer them. To the points where they raise, and I get for come up with them. Yeah? And I get for come Bokutin for talk 15 minutes, no do I tell the people. I say, Bo, when I pay for me come out alone $2,575 for can talk for 15 minutes. When I be known I send that money they for me in that tongue. When I for do it, I before do it up. But anyway, it's still worth it. Not so. I'm glad you are come, I'm glad you are see. When I all the past, I don't care from Sunday. I'm glad you I don't see interact a bit. I've been there on the net and I'm glad you. Agree one point. Culture, yes, culture is about clothes we wear. Culture is about the food we eat, the rituals we perform, and mostly about the brain. Culture mostly not the brain. What do you believe? Now you did do. That's all. The print, yes, part of culture because it is show you, it direct you to a group of people who believe the same things and act the same way. When are the Krio person? Now that this print mean. Now that's we egusi mean. Now that's the jollof rice. Things that were the point we bodos and a Krio bodos this. Now that. But we talk about culture really, we are thinking about what people believe, now and then they do. Mama, good morning, ma. Because we believe, say, for tell mama the elder in the morning. That one day we not learn in a school, not learn culture in a school. Now when you big, as you the big, you see your big sister, they cook rice. You self begin watch. After some time, your big sister go cook soup. Then you will be and can cook rice. Then you will be you will split. Now so the chain they go. We believe big person will not fit I am. Nobody knows to tell you for course any big person and so on. So basically, now that for me, the culture about we belief system. If a people spend their time believing that one day God will give you a good leader, we go do it. If we believe Say, if we choose for belief, say, we for obey and complain all the time, that learning is better than silver and gold, and so on, now so we go there. If America believes, say, our country will be great, always be great, and if it appears to be falling, we make it great again. We know they think so. So since now so America they think, they will continue to rise and they will continue to go up. The Krio people, their language and culture, now nothing but a nick snacks, boto bata, box up, mix up, joblo, jabla, palava sauce of all the various personalities that constitute the nation called Mama Saloon. Krio na all my own. 95% of the people of Sierra Leone, they understand Krio. Krio na cut across the country. Krio na bind the nation together. The culture of Krio na everybody in a salon they practice, I bet you. If I go Cathedral Boys School na Freetown, the other person go Kailaun Jehyun Secondary School at the same syllabus, at the same belief. Baba Black Sheep, have you any wool? Na the same. So when we meet na tongue, we all they talk the same way. To the extent that if let us say, okay, the past president, let us say, Anes Kuruma Tinapia, na suti dewe, Madabiuka, na suti dewe, Tijanka Baka, na suti dewe. How we go do know Uswana, Limba, or Mende? We not they know. We go feel say they all na Krio. And I'll tell you something about the Krio language and behavior of, as regards perception of people in the provinces, the one you Krio, the one you English. Then believe now the provinces say, if you not sabi talk Krio, understand Krio, you're not civilized. So, you can hardly hear the one for talk other language. Middle Kaila na Krio then they talk, Middle Kabbalah na Krio they talk. And yet, I was yesterday surprised. I was blown away to realize that 700 Krios they inside this building right now. I begin to attend the number of couples when I salon can count. Because if now only 1% of Krio in the saloon population now weighs less than 200,000 of the population, then 700 there. Also a man at Texas can when a Krio they right soon. So not to 700. Also a man in America, also Canada, not to on a number of couples when I salon. And they will tell them, I say, watch out. Then they come. Then they come for can take the country. Again, my topic, as I say, post-independence Sierra Leone, the impact of Krio for education and culture. And that's me they can talk about. Education as Saloon, and then, how they call it, the church people, now they come with 1787, the Anglican people we fought for liberation of slaves. They come home with them as soon as know they can bring them the Black Pork come mainly from Britain, Wilberforce and others, and they settled at that point where they called First Province of Freedom, we later became Freetown, and they settled under the good old cotton tree. We don't know in age, but I shall say about 400 years plus. Then built Freetown around Nova Scotia on the right, going to Sopit, and on the left towards Jockey Bridge, you get the Maroon people, the Maroon tongue. And then Freetown started developing around Soja tongue, Portuguese tongue, Congo tongue, Fula tongue. When I the tongue, then the Congo tongue inside Freetown, Fula tongue inside. We all mix to the we talk Krio. And all the team them, now we all the practice hand together. The Anglican people come with their education, then come with their curriculum, then come with deep religious curriculum. They come with the kind of education we take away we name from we identity, then telling us that Jesus is Lord. I am the way, the truth, and the life. No man cometh unto the Father but by me. I say, but what a Muslim man? Not to Jesus is good too. And then see to me, we get to begin examine now. We call the belief of the Krio people. A stereotype photocopy of westernized curriculum and syllabus, of Western lifestyle, Western dress, folklore. And they tell me, then parable, then ripple and fable, when they tell me, They carry themes of inferiority complex. Baba black sheep, have you any wool? Yes sir, 3 bags full. One for the master, one for the dame, one for the little boy that lives down the lane. A rhyme fine, all in all, now check out. We don't have Baba black sheep. That's how they tell me. And so we take them all. Let we pray. Close your eyes. Hands together, eyes closed. That's when they tell me. A culture, education of subordination, laziness, total belief and dependency in God the Almighty. And also a bag. Now waiting and you see them bring power when they affect with the leke today. The leke today will ask the Krio impact. What that pass Krio na salon? If I don't, we don't the advocate say this Krio. Let we let say Krio. Let we say salon talk. Now all man they talk. Everywhere now in the country they talk Krio. Parliament they talk and they get code salon something something. That's what the English one are there. One go pa the Krio and say eso, then get eso something, eso 4. Then blast na Krio will not beginning. We go for prepare for take over because things not they go on fine, you know. So for the with the church people look out with education. First the CMS, of course, grammar school. And then Walsh, the Methodist Boys High School, and the Methodist then come with Sam, the Catholic come with St. Edward's, the American Missionary come with Albert Academy, Afford School, and then begin all team, as I say, them put me on this kind of syllabus. So now then come that kind of reading, you know. So since now Krio set up and begin the education, of course now Krio people then benefit from the education and from the last speaker and president. You see how Krio people then progress. Let me check them. So they don't begin lay the foundation and acquire well before independence. So when independence can now adjust, we just the drive go down before. And because of that education day, Salon Krio people then rise to the highest by education. Some becoming education minister. Right from the beginning, we get H.E.B. John, if I remember very well, Baptist Wilson, if I also remember very well. Then when they become top-ranked minister of education, the way I mean Krio people them. So we don't lead the way throughout. They will see Niku, don't know Sabia. They say get all the degrees in the world. They will see Niku. Fubi College, Kusu Thomas, Jonas Sawyer, all them guiding our people them will impact education now we country. Then play the highest role as principals and chancellors of the University of Sierra Leone. Sholari Adams, good old Sholari Adams, now nurture Milton Magai Teachers College. He does this with a college open MMTC, will be the column in the man talk Krio. Before and after independence, the Krio believed in white man Western education and the system. For the Krio, education phenomenal, no doubt about it. Every Krio for go to school. They not only put them in school, they make sure say they go every day. They make sure say them all the cost for educate them picking, then they go in whatever way. They use cash and kind for making them picking get education and then train up their child the way he or she should go. They not only send them picking to school without counting the cost, they participated in school and still do school activities, school ceremonies. You could see parents they all once a year under one roof, speech day and Thanksgiving and graduation. They all did this, speech day plays and the school choir will sing and a day. So parents they also did they interact, see them picking winning prizes and singing in the choir they cannot win prizes. So they not only send them picking to school and pay for them, but they also take part. They get good teacher-parents association relationship. They participate in functions in the school. They maintain good relationship with the school authority. Teaching being considered prestigious in those days. Krio people be one for teach plenty. So therefore, a lot of them go into teaching, both men and women, because for them teaching occupation be noble. So so that alone, the fact that naturally the belief and the perception of the Krio, one is education is paramount. Education is very, very relevant, and therefore we make sure we begin get good education and a link with the school. Me and Mark go check in a school. we can vex. Every month, you must go for you teacher. Mr. Spain, I give name. Mr. Bokul, Mr. Spain, Mr. Thomas, Mr. Johnson Pratt. And then the little teacher they will get. But now you go to the school, Mr. Camera, you said the talk so. 90 now. Well, now I'm about me. So we don't see how they lost grip. When they feel them, see, when they lost the grip, small. If they go, they notice. Take quick arata, they bet you, they blow out. That's what happened to the Krio now. We are down and down and down. We are getting down. The education impact is dwindling. People, outsiders, strangers are taking over. We'll not get much again because they just take all things over from we. But education, as I say, we continue. Schools were owned by these missionary people, the Methodist, Catholic, and so on, and government as well. Government. So the church, the government, and private individuals also talk of independence, beginning of this era after independence, Salonian and private people been on their own schools, whatever. I mean, different. You go see, say, yes, that private man, they try, but he dedicates. Pa Wilson, remember Pa Wilson? Pa Wilson. In school, private school, he run them, himself, he and wife, determine poverty. They see points by the school, so Pa Wilson, they go every day. They take care of them, picking them. The poor picking them. Well, they don't want a cathedral, they don't want a box team, they don't want a Regent Square. I mean, a Regent Square, I go. They don't want them, they Pa Wilson. Then here we, passive as then they boasting school, would they laugh them? Would they unbog them? Boasting kakabo kit. Would they sing pan? Boasting kakabo kit. Would they say, I'm mostly picky there? They only pass common entrance in those days. They only go near this. Because when you ask them, common entrance essay, how they call it, composition, for write about my pet. You can also say, Pastor just saying, my pet is a lion. Every day I take my pets to the market. And when the traders see my pets, they leave their beef and run away. And the lion will eat all the beef, and I take it home again. And when I mean, the mark come on the entrance, you wrong. I say, I go get lion. I say, no. Now, composition, creative writing, you don't need to get lion. So let you write about lion. We are talking here about noun and predicates and objects. My pet is a lion. Correct. You are wrong because you think say another pet. Justice. Okay. So Pa Wilson, Pa Boston, Cocotella, near Prince of Wales School, Bannerman, all the private owned schools them in those days. Then enter the Bataclan towns, Onigabidon, remember them, Grace Williams, Moridin, and other women also boldly stood their ground for education in the nation. As teachers, they rose to the ranks as principals. Some of them for decades they served as principal. Oredola was director of education, chief education officer, Oredola Fury. Cassandra Gaba, under whose grace we are all gathered here from all over the globe today. Anybody need for tell about Cassandra Gaba? Cassandra Gaba teach me wife go FSLG from nursery to Form 5. Cassandra Gaba, now mama. When you graduate, we go teach you. Don't see my makeup now use. You say you, that's what they call me. I see that I see I study. Mr. Afna, they call you, they can say they come. Now the woman in that of caliber, dignity in labor. Almost in the pay teacher. Grammar school I go teach past Spain tell me, say, Mr. Afna, they don't go ever pay teacher well. If they increase teacher salary and they increase doctor back, they increase lawyer back. So now we'll still be. You say teacher. If now 1 year you want to teach for go bank, teach well so that your children will remember you as a good teacher. That's all. That's your pension. Nothing you not get for do again. So also Krio women in education, of course, included already some names. Florence Dilsworth, as we know. I don't call Gaba. Letty Hyde Foster, Fashukolia. They did their own as women for impact education. Please, if I don't call any name, I know. Especially Eastern. I don't believe Eastern so. But I remember 34 because I attend boys high school. Now 3 school I go now they see me so. 34, attend boys high school, Willie Pratt, of course, and guys then did. I mean, tough in their own days. Willie Pratt, they mean tough. They mean, at 34, then came Roy Macaulay and so on. They're all day, and then do them part. You know, now they will, not arena. But also, we get women as well. No, like, forget me, main man, Akiwande Lashite, Papa God, let God, sorry for me if I don't call Lashite. Akiwande as one of the people that have great impacts. Now you see Grammar School and Lashite, now you they see. Okay, then the women again, you get Bob Sin Kamara, get FSSG Still Lady. You got Mr. Mina, some kind of teacher in your kind way, impacting education as salon from local model in your kind of way. But the question now remains: the education and culture of the Krio is going down, it's dwindling. Personalities are being forgotten. We don't forget Bokutin of the culture as well. These traditional herbs, Ejiri and Agbo. We don't forget them, small. Good at the Goso, we live in hospital now. Computer don't take over all things. Computer say we boil royal bass, let mix am with palm oil, then we put olive oil, we put oil, boiler for 3 minutes, then we turn them over, then we shake them, then we squeeze them, then we put in a bottle, then we take straw for the drink them. We granny them with the sweat 3 4. They sweat. They put this straw, then we drink. You know, cultural, the masquerades, where them, where the hunting, where the meal or the massy, where bunting, where the deckers, where bunting and clinting. I talk about the Krio, them forefrontness, and this culture. Everybody, you know what's happening? Okay, now, hunting, they all over the country. Gonna bunt, hunting, they know that. Kailo, hunting, they make any. And we sit down, we not even realize the impacts will be culture. On one time like a Krio, everybody, they envy us. You driver, they drive you, they collect you, say, hey, this Krio Paya, the guy easy. You yams white coparam. And so we see, we depend on one thing. I talk about Bell, I talk about in the white people then come with their own kind of music, what they call classical music, Western music, where they introduce to we in their own kind of way. Balanta Taylor, I mean, great phenomenon. Now the music scene, Balanta Taylor, I mean, professor. Now I come out to America, became professor of music. Now, yeah, I go na tongue, I go teach na Sierra Leone grammar school. Now Kissy man, and they also to them foster, they up that hill. And they about how he died. And the other thing that too, we heroes and they die. When I go see how they lost them. The Wright family, and then come with the organ music, Logie Wright and Bunting Wright. And Handy Wright was a genius. I know I'm very well, Bobo. Then a couple of Western kind of music. Willie Pratt and the school band, you name it. Willie Pratt, all them body played trumpet, Tabano 75. Now school and come out Eddie Isaac, I get for Sia and Graf, for can play. Now Willie Pratt. I didn't come out can play the band. Can play waiting at the church, and then Captio Malin, then got them been there, but they're not there again, and therefore we are losing ground. All the things and then they go. From that kind of music, we also move into jazz music and the band music led by Gerald Pine of Prince of Wales School, Gerald Dupino. We go Nigeria and effect what they now call Afrobeat, Afro music. They say na fella, no, it's not fella. Now, Nigeria opinion na go fat face physically. Then he attack and treat and Nigeria and can beat her. In the end, where fella writes in autobiography, you say thanks to Gerald Dupino because now in show and the way. Today all the music when I dance yesterday, I know dance, but Kubaku Nigeria music they are big. A Krio business is a salon music for dance, yeah. Salon music. When a person better, no. It's not person, not a person. I will call one person for me. Person. So me the person. I left him. Yeah, especially Krio business. No, they Krio, but they plenty are seen advertised, famous. That is such. Now what Krio about them? What their music them? We don't forget about them people then. Okay. Then I talk about also Dr. Dynamite, Jazz Leon. We talk about Eddie Isaac, Len Jones, Elma Beckley. them gathered in a style, and God give them music. And now Jones at the age of 9, they play for band, they play organ, a band, play guitar. The guitar big person. Then Jones, and Papa na Chief Justice, you name it. They Brookfield area. Now, when it's small, it pass selective, then at table they eat, lunch, family, no Krio again, it's all long commodity and do na school now. And they say I want to be lawyer, I want to be journalist, and they say I want to whether you used to learn. You just pass common entrance. They say, yes, Len, what about you? What would you like to become? They say, I go on forget Kakadebul, sir. What's interesting? How would the people they laugh now? So when I laugh just now. So I make Kakadebul then ground down, they look in the room, then take the rest and the bread. I am probable they stubborn for nothing. And you continue to press and press. See how you call in Pekin, Christo and Tunji. Tunji have been genius. They do this one who believe who sit also. Then say you don't know they. Stay increase, stay that. And they'll go talk about us also. So even though the Krio then they encourage arts in the country and they encourage music. Now Krio Baba go born in meet organ na os na pala. They go begin playing small. Only most of the greatest artists and cultural activists and practitioners of Sierra Leone, then are Krio. Singing, music, and entertainment. Let's remember Calendar and his Maringa band. Calendar, a man, Jamaican origin. But Calendar became Italian as a carpenter and I'm a specialist for make coffin. Calendar. And they listen to obituary every morning. Specialists for make coffin, Calendar. Then they Chris Durin and the River Boys and we remember them again. Then we get Daddy Loco we come later, before that we get Pitana Leopards and the Gumbe section. And all them people then they wait them, we don't forget them. No legacy, no nothing, no start to no bust about them. Nothing. We don't forget. Dr. Olo, where he died, now we get that money for Berham. Better know the. You see, I don't go see Calendar. They got nothing. Chris Durin, divided family man, die family or the around all the instruments, all things don't well. And we would talk about post-independence when 62 years ago, we still the wait with the look. We talk in terms of we own area, theater arts, because one thing about music and theater and all, they link with education, right? Whereas the formal education, carrying a college in that curriculum like institutionalized something, and we teach by drama and traditional form of communication. We teach drama, we use drama for pass information, for communicate, for sensitize, for educate, awareness raising, you name it. That's what they do now the music. So arts and culture and education, it connects. In fact, it's supposed to be Ministry of Education, Tourism and Culture. But the Ministry of Education now, I don't know again what that again. You see? And in terms of theater arts, from days before, Sarif Ismon, the man then their parents and Oga. When you want to read them book, them play, you forget dictionary near you. Because every 2 line you get for consult, you get for check. They adopt the typical Western education, literal, artistic form. Sarif Ismon, Thomas Dekker na the man who challenge the people, the establishment, say no, Krio na language. Krio like any other language in the world, we self get morphology, we get syntax and semantics. We get nouns and parts of speech na Krio. We do not believe and they prove them. It translates Julius Caesar to Krio. And he wins so many awards. Now, Krio exponent, he crazy about Krio, became Minister of the Director of Information, and during the coup, Shaka Sipi in Olam, Lokana prison, he did it 5 years, he came, and he get a lot of publication. Please, when they Google them, people here, so Thomas Dekker, when they say Krio, you go cut him, you go kill him. They do experiments, After that, we get you get Juliana John, Abi Uma who became Juliana Rowe, Guko Kununa wife gets owner, and then come after independence, we nurture a lot of others, we follow, Raymond D'Souza George, Dele Charlie, then come with Titi Shine, and they open the door for Krio drama and Sierra Leone. Because previously, now Shakespearean type, even in Thomas Dekker were talked to before, their parents and Olga, Shakespearean British. But when Balanta first put a anthem na Krio in 3 way rights, Efwa, Ekwa, and Boema, we not get no record of them, no ask me for them. When he put them down, then people will begin to answer and say, what? So when you say, hallelujah, 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 okay, British tune, but it take Krio ideas, maybe of polygamy, of waiting, and fix them. And that idea can begin of mixing education, using music and so on as a tool for methodology. You know, so we get them people there, but also, as I said, this was George, Clifford Garber, then Charlie Hafner came. Charlie Hafner turned the tide of theater in Sierra Leone. Charlie Hafner shifted the focus of theater from merely comedy and rituals. Charlie Hafner bring in theater as a tool and instrument of change. Charlie Hafner take theater to the people because Charlie Hafner believes, say, if the mountain cannot come to Muhammad for go to the mountain. So when they dragged theater out of City Hall 1987 and we not get no way for go, Charlie Hafner jumped into the street. And today the theater take a new form. So now it begin to establish a format for authentic Sierra Leonean based theater. And now it is spread, it don't go all over the place now. I don't know where street is in the house. Street you there around? We don't try you from Tabule, we don't move, see. I will be there around and net. We don't deepen them, we don't try. Women among again, Monica, Bobsin Kamara, Nanette, Charlie, the late, just buried recently, Fatih Hafner, and so on. Women themselves play a role. Because women, the role when they play in theater, we know they contam. June they around, and we all tap one who's. June Joes, they are another tabule woman. We try we best. And they watch at this now, also they can wear the time. They don't call all them different style. I say, oh yeah, them picking them also have been non style there. I saw they die, and I saw they go with this style them. Il out. Now you hear they talk now. Il out. Then say in out. Let us have that scene and say il out. Then the other party picking. Not so out now. Out. I say, Mammy Gage, when last you tell people story for you picking. See me sir. They go down small. I don't take all thing now we earn. What is happening to Freetown? Freetown was built in quotes for the Krios by the Krios. When those batch there appear now cut around the cotton tree and then pray and say prayer, and in Freetown and they begin they like a today the cotton tree around the cotton tree it don't for them cotton tree don't for them. When it happen, the non-Creoles they say thank God this thing don't come on our road. What they do they safe, but for don't cut and they don't plant other small potato leaf them until by now will not be for the order for us. That's what they say. So now they KDU after today KDU think for happy. Now they see me I can go south. You say Krio one people can go bring camp. How are they can go? Now so are they bring camp. Like I they tell now so about free tongue, waiting they be day. Are they watch you now? Where I go to back? Why they all now? When I yes go the ring, as so Krio call just say we talk about you. Yes, the ring, you know. So what's going to happen? Freetown falling. What's going to happen to the Krio houses? Freetown are the seat of everything. Freetown are the microcosm of Sierra Leone. Freetown are the home of the University of Sierra Leone. And Freetown, we became the Athens of West Africa. Freetown hosts the Bank of Sierra Leone, State House, House of Parliament, headquarters of the nation, Sierra National Stadium, everything about Sierra Leone now Freetown. Now we get the, una see there, they go don't take all but tell now they come back. They go don't take all. Bo, me land. I get me land. You come, you left Bo, you left Kenema, you left Kaila, you left etc. etc. You come to me, you build parliament day. You build house of this day. You build state house. You build university, the bank, everything. Don't have the vex. I mean, not the landlord. But we're not going to do nothing because that one I talk. One and bank will not they shake. And they happen. And they happen. When they look at it, left then I said and then Eden. Eden. I go know that not Eden. I go know that not Eden. Everything is gone. Oh, the land of the free. Everything is going. The status of Krio, the language is going. Oh, Adepankam. Jishno. The first day were Jishno. They can't Jishno. I said, wait it. You say they can't Jishno. I said, well, how for spell that one day? Jishno. How for spell Jishno? Tena no sabi spell. Tena no be spell Jishno it. But it's going, the language they spoil. They go work you talk. He ask me bad one. They no sabi talk. Nothing again. We food no day again. Now na acheke. Now sabi acheke. Now acheke now. Now sabi kill driver. I kill driver now the pudding and the pie. Kill driver na cake, flour and sugar. I don't know what it again. It's so sweet that the story said the driver they eat them, they drive. It's sweet, they enjoy them, and they drive so they make so. Now he bang boom. Now he die. So they begin call it see I kill driver. So they say, I got the kill driver, or why they want to go buy they go by kill driver. So again, as I say, them people, they are grabbing our land. The greatest land grabbing in the world that I know is in Freetown right now. And then grabbing. It's a grabbing spree going on right now. The values are gone. Street trading, especially on Sunday, rampant. Gibraltar Church, it's where they suffer. Gibraltar Church. Nah, yanda. It's where they suffer. Better know the again. Don't grab all the land from we. The language don't go. The values don't go. You know what's in the happy now? They are naming our village. There, we get Levuma now. Where they go, God reach. Levuma. When I say Levuma, the way they go up and that Tihon, you don't pass now. The fame bomb. You pass bomb. I didn't pull that name. I say Levuma. You not go believe. We get Kenema Street inside Funkia Godrich. We get Kenema Street. The names are being replaced. We get Shangbe Pier Bridge. You know that bridge na Juba, eh? It be named Wallace Johnson Bridge. So now they build one kekte one na your right hand and say for 2 let traffic go flow. And traffic not flow now. And then name am Shangbe Pier Bridge. We don't know how that happen no, because we no see na impact. So impact, whose impact you area that come for make them name you and give you their names then they, but they look them. And Kenema, sorry, Kaila Uncots Barry, are they Adonkia up that hill na they. Once I can go past there, they watch, say hey, Kaila Uncots Barry. Then we don't get plan for change, then Peninsula Village, then name Laka, Ogu Farm number 2, all na catch them. All the names be done the way for change. You know, so basically, I then can team they go on now the country. Peninsula Mountain, Funkia, we don't lost Samu, we don't lost Salting. As I say, the continent get on for them, nothing all day. But things don't change, as I say, in the past 30 to 40 years as Sierra Leone. We're not getting no more unity again among the Creoles. We have abandoned our home. How will the Creole bangle shake when there is no more unity? No more brothers, keepers. We are discontented. Mistrust between the young and the old, parents and children, teachers and parents. Now, also you tie cow, now they eat grass. If you yam swine, kobaram. And that life they will live now. Do ya? I don't mix me, I don't know. All man they pan you. Bangles for jingle, for shake, all for the now one and together. Now they shake. But the bangles, they're not there together, they not go shake. And this motto, team go they continue and continue every time. You know, we don't so bad off Krio now. We all, including myself, yeah. We don't so bad off now by the Krio that it's just like it's just difficult for we. We're not able for do it. If I say we get projects now, let's launch these projects now for Krio. Before I left here, at the end they go to Congo Sami. No men shall have now. No men. One can take sense, eat with money, who they suffer for getting America. And one take with fat fry. It things say they wash me face go up. Now so, now the Creole culture that, and they would reach the mentality that of we comping them. And they would reach now. You know, now if you beat you picking, now alone, they can go police. I know that we don't copy una. We don't copy America. We be una. Can picking go police, can police and catch up. You know. So basic, if we are not together with one accord, united family, where a family bears a child and the community nurtures it, how can the Krio bangle shake? So I call on Krio to rally the bangle up, the single arm again, so we can shake and make a loud noise.
Thank you very much, Mr. Hafner. You know, there's people there where we bring then sabi so much that one of the things where I go propose to KDU afterwards is that we get symposium. We're not going to wait till we reunion for invite them for can talk, or other people then for can talk and tell we more, educate we more, and motivate we as to how to move forward. Mr. Hafner, thank you very much. Once again, please give him a round of applause. Okay, our next speaker is Mr. Desmond Fraser. He's going to talk about the impact of Krios in business, technology, and entrepreneurship.
Good morning. Unfortunately, I don't think I can perform as well as Mr. Hafner, but I'll try. Joe, you want to tee up the presentation? Do the PDF.
Just tell me when to go. Slide to slide.
Okay, sure. I'm proud to look that way. Again, good morning. I am going to be discussing today business, technology, and entrepreneurship as it relates to Krios, Christian Krios, as well as Muslim Krios. Can you guys hear me? Okay. Sure. I'm going to be discussing today business, technology, and entrepreneurship as it relates to Creoles, Christian Creoles, and Muslim Creoles. It is impossible for me to really spend 15 minutes discussing the achievements of Creoles post-independence. So as a result of that, I would only highlight a few Creoles and their achievement post-independence. Please excuse me if I leave out any important names. There are just too many to highlight today. One of the themes in my presentation today would be preservation, succession, and with respects to entrepreneurship, I have an hypothesis, and it relates to culture, what we all enjoy and what we all do. But before I move on to the next slide, I want to take time to explain that as much as we should praise and celebrate the accomplishments of Creoles, it's important for us to think about preservation and how we are able to keep culture, way of life moving. So my talk today would be mostly about that, though I would highlight some of the notables. Next slide, Joe. So generally speaking, Creoles have been in business, or still in business, not as much as they were in the early days of our independence. But they were involved in various aspects of business, and still does. But most importantly, the areas that I'll be talking about are what I believe we should be doing in terms of the entrepreneurship and some of the interesting businesses that they had. From small crafts to livestock farming and animal husbandry, Creoles have been involved, and they still are, as not as much as before. Some highlights I would mention: carpet slippers. I'm sure I've seen some of the women here wearing their carpet slippers. I'd like to touch on that with respects to preservation. And I have some ideas of what could be done with respects to preserving that tradition. For quite a long time, we have been engaged as Creoles in constructions and engineering. But going forward, let me highlight the notables. So Joe, move to the next slide. Next slide, Joe. As you look through this list, I have only chosen a few Krio businesses, especially ones that have, in my opinion, that appears to have a succession plan by design or by happenstance. And so I'd like to bring you to attention that back in the 60s, Mr. Mustafa, MS Mustafa, I'm sure you all know about him, had a very prosperous business, the list of notables and companies include Laji Wahid, who had a lorry park, I think it was Dan Street. He was also involved in wholesale and retailing. The Betts family, Jubilee Betts family, they dealt in agricultural products and were able to export produce from Sierra Leone to the Gambia and to Senegal, and in return would bring animal products to Sierra Leone. Same with Aja Miniratu Abbas Savage. I spoke to Mr. Matami Krio, who is here in the States. He's in real estate and cement. Mr. Savage, Mohammed Savage, is in animal husbandry. And of course, we all remember Morgan Pharmacies and Sir Annis Dunstan's Morgan, who was a druggist, had a very important pharmacy in our community. He's no longer with us. May his soul rest in peace. But on the other column, I wanted to point out the succession that's going on. The Columbia Davis family, Mr. and Mrs. Macaulay used to own that business, a mortuary. And the children have now taken over. Virtue's Memorial Home, Sylvia and Daphne Davis, their mother used to own that memorial home. Texalt, Professor Kosotomas, I should say, recently passed away. Started Texalt with Professor B.B. Ibrahim and Professor Jack Gaber. And I believe Professor Kosotomas' son, Nikai, is taking over the company and would be moving forward with it. Mr. Edward Davis started his consulting company in 1963. And Mr. Sam Lee worked for Mr. Davis, and he is now the owner of Edward Davis and Associates. And Mr. Sam Lee's daughter, Kunle Lee, is more than likely going to succeed Mr. Sam Lee. Red Lion Bakery, the Ashuds, has now been run by Michelle Jones and Syl Grant. They are grandchildren of the Ashuds. Mr. Jack Yeski had an architectural firm, Jack Yeski, and Mr. Magnus Gaber is now the owner. Mr. Gaber used to work for him and is now the proprietor, the owner of Jack Yeski, Gaber and Associates. Western Clinic, Dr. Claudius Cole used to own Western Clinic, and Dr. Olabisi Claudius Cole has succeeded him. What I want to point here is this succession that you can see with respect to these businesses that I'm identifying. Unfortunately, most of our Krio businesses, succession was not part of their thinking. So most of them have died out, and the only ones that may succeed or continue to grow in the future are the ones who have actually planned succession. So I'd like to expand on that as we go through these slides. What we need to do to maintain our culture and our way of life and our businesses. Next slide, Jonathan. I'll be remiss if I don't mention some of the scientists and the engineers, and I would call them the pillars of technology. Let me start with Dr. Professor Dr. Mudavere Williams. He was in biological sciences. Professor Dr. Chater, biology. Murphy Wright, chemistry. Professor Vidal Godwin, physics. Professor Strasser King, geology. Professor Werner Renner, physics. Professor Dr. Davison Nichol, I listed him here because of his research work in discovering the breakdown of insulin in the human body. Dr. Ralph Taylor Smith was an organic chemist. Dr. Norman Cole, who is in Maryland, is a botanist. And Professor Algali, an agriculturist. Dr. Monty Jones. It's ironical that Dr. Monty Jones was able to develop a new type of rice called Nerika, but yet still Sierra Leone imports rice. So Dr. Monty Jones is an important part of a society, not only in Sierra Leone, or for Sierra Leone I should say, but rather for the entire west coast of Africa. Most often, utility engineers are not mentioned, so I wanted to bring light to some of the important pillars in our society. In any developed society, infrastructure is a very important aspect. Water, electricity, and communication is very important. Mr. Bruno Gaston was the chief engineer as well as the general manager of Sierra Leone Electricity Corporation. Mr. Tommy Ope was also a GM and chief engineer of Guma Valley Water. He was succeeded by Mr. Richard Brown, who was also a GM and a chief engineer. SLET, as we recall Sierra Leone External Telecommunication. Mr. Shubalepo was the GM and a chief engineer as well. Mr. Christo Davis, Postal and Telecommunication, was the chief engineer. And Postal Service itself was Mr. Egerton Smith. And then, of course, you have lots of engineers, too many to list here, but I wanted to list a few of the engineers who contributed to Sierra Leone post-independence. Zol Iskandri, civil engineer. Mr. Sylvanus Till Lewis, also civil. Mr. Alex Alston, civil. Mr. Ivan Gordon, civil. And Professor Kosonika Kosotamas, also civil. Very few electrical or telecoms engineers. Mr. Alex Ferguson Nicol, telecommunications. Mr. Babatunde Ibrahim, who was a partner of Dr. Kosotamas as well, civil. Mr. Arthur Doshjav, civil. Mr. Tani Part is part of CMAT. He is a mining engineer. Mr. Echo Lake, electrical. Mr. Boyne Wright, electronics. Mr. Sam Lee of Edward Davis and Associates, civil. Mr. Arthur Jones Dove, civil. Professor Jack Garber, who is now, I think he's a professor at the University of Florida. Transportation and environmental. Dr. Robert Davidson, mechanical. Professor Elijah Babatunde Ibrahim, civil. Professor Badamasi Savage, civil. Mr. Jared Yaski was an architect. And Dr. Rodney King, I'm not sure whether or not you guys are aware of Dr. Rodney King. Dr. Rodney King is an inventor, and he invented the fractal grid hyper-learning technology, and he's very engaged in that space, teaching us early on, and has a huge following on WhatsApp with respects to using fractal grid in storytelling and in learning. Next slide, John. Entrepreneurship. So who are entrepreneurs, and what is the definition of entrepreneurship? It's a dynamic process. It involves creativity, lots of risk-taking. One has to have a great business acumen. It also involves thinking strategically. It could involve building a new business, developing a new product, fulfilling market niches, introducing new products and systems or services within existing companies. Individuals who are entrepreneurs take tremendous risks in developing a product or endeavoring to develop a product. It involves financial risks and reward. Most are motivated to make money. Others do it for altruistic reasons. And some, of course, do it because of economic gains and growth. Next slide, please. When the chairman asked me to discuss entrepreneurship, I was thinking about what would I discuss. And so it dawned on me that when we Krio celebrate traditions, typically our Jaws, we always gravitate to two ingredients, or I should say two types of food that we like and drink. Ginger beer being one of them, and rice bread. So I wanted to perform an experiment and prove an hypothesis whether or not we can, A, develop a new product and use that example to show how entrepreneurs think, or the process of entrepreneurship. And so I experimented at home making ginger beer, and I called up my sister to ask how my mother used to make ginger beer, the processes. And she explained it to me, and part of the process, I'm sure you all know how to do it, involves purifying create a puree and diluting that ginger puree and putting it out in the sun, adding lime, and leave it out in the open sun for the suspended solids to settle down to the bottom. This process, as you know, generates pulp, ginger pulp, as well as ginger starch. In thinking about it, I asked my sister, why did my mother put the ginger solute solution that's been diluted out in the sun? And she said, well, that's how they do it. You put it out in the sun. Then I called a friend of mine, Mr. Campbell. I said, Mr. Campbell, your mother made good ginger beer. So how did she go about making the ginger beer? And Mr. Campbell explained and said, Mr. Fraser, my mama put it outside for the sun. That's how we do it. Do it. That's the way you should do it. But it wasn't enough for me, so I decided to research it to figure out why mothers would put the ginger beer solution out in the open, the sun.
The problem on the watch at the road and we get
Watching that coming.
the comments they were doing inside Texas as we get the second day for the KDU annual reunion where we can get. And I want to ask you a question because plenty of people will say these two will do so today inside Texas. You know, one point the people are way beginner. So tell me a little bit about how this thing come about. We get Texas back today.
So as we know, the Settlers Union was formed in 1951. After the Settlers Union, they're ready for almost the die-off. This was before my time, of course. The remnants of that group, which was only about 14 Krio people then, 9 then formed Krio Descendants Union of Freetown. So then the war came to Sierra Leone. After the war done, Naima Magaba will take on this mantle, say the people then at Sierra Leone, they were the Krio that we've been there, they were economically challenged, and you know, yes, not everybody, a small number, but still, the group not been the group. Now I take this word Kamitwin at the diaspora. When it Kamitwi, they go different parts of the United States and United Kingdom. But when they reach Texas, now we say, no, this word you can tell women, which was a summer's day in the month of August in 2007. We say this is the word here, and a fine word, man. Now we agree. There were like 10 Krio families, strong Krio families in Texas, and we agree, and we decided to take it on, and we become the first Krio Descendants Union of Texas is the first Krio union formed outside of Sierra Leone. And now, as we know, we call them all chapters. I believe we have 16 chapters as we there today.
Now that the grow, waiting on upon the grow, I feel come.
I feel wonderful. I feel wonderful. In fact, we need more growth, not only outside of the diaspora, but inside. As you know, I'm the current president after Mama Gaba, almost 30 years of work. And when I go there, I not being get that in my mind because I've been on the secretary for 10 years. I will begin this thing. So I say, no, but you know, we got to get work for you. It give you the ability for do I they put the right people there around you. So I take on the challenge. And when I take on this challenge, so one of the things that we since I became a president in 2022, February, as you know, that was 230 years since the founding of Freetown. Presidents for Freetown, Krio Descendants President for Freetown. But one major project we do last year was with the Freetown City Council on the celebration of 230 years of the founding of Freetown. So that really keep we busy. We end the year with a lot of activities. But as we begin the end, now God give me this vision, give me this idea. Let us rise up and build. Yes, we build the Krios, the museum, the cultural center, the Lily restaurant we go Didi. That's going on. Okay, it may not stand still a little bit, but most importantly, we for build holistically, we for build in numbers, we for build in we attitudes, including me. You know, sometimes things happen. You know, and we get a bad attitude. I not go do I again, no. I not join them again, no. Do you have all of that?
Listen, we cannot say, the Krio people then they get at themselves at the diaspora. Or they find out against it inside Salon. It's all a problem again. And the Krio are very unique culture when it comes to Salon. We know what in Krio people do, education, music, even in security sector, all these sectors in Sierra Leone, we find out say Krio people don't contribute greatly for now we get that name with them in the culture. They say Salon at the Athens of West Africa. Until now, we see say them principle over they get Skadi.
we all work under the principle. Plenty school them and Creole people. How you feel now that the Creole culture, it look like it go down and the people are not together again? What thing now you concern?
It's a concern. What Mickey always say, initial problem are the economics. Okay? The bread and butter, the act, and yes, we know what they go on as the country. The challenges when it comes to the economics is plenty. Okay, but you still get people then where they may sustain certain things. One of the biggest institutions we have in Sierra Leone that's sustained by the Creoles is the church. Okay, so that really is going on perfectly well, almost perfectly well. So when you want to do something, you want to go in there and meet certain people. Then we have certain people, and we'll call their name, who are people in high places where they're, like when we did this thing last year, we had 6, I started what was called a sponsorship of our events. We had 6 Krio businesses or Krio-led businesses that were our initial sponsors. Now, let us bring one. Edward Davis Associates. They don't only sponsor us by giving us funding, but also they're the ones monitoring this Krio host. And they know they charge we. Okay, so there are people that's in one area, in what you call it now, whatever that is, with the billows. So I forgot the word. But so then you get, of course, religion is there. Then you have other people then with dinner banks. And some of these banks do donate. And so they say, okay, we're going to donate to this. So therefore, and of course, and don't forget me, DRS Paddy then, Red Lion Bakery. Red Lion, as we know, we say salon bread. Okay, but Red Lion, the Ashwood and the Hyde Foster families came together and they've actually sponsored one of the gates, which was actually done this few months since I've been president. So, and some other people then could not go out for me to call their name because some people just like for do their thing. And these are people that are major donors, meaning above 15, 20 million annual, at least the last year since I've been president, and I know it will continue.
It's problem. And we find out plenty of people involved in politics. Now they hurt they want to give back to the country, but then they face challenges.
Yes.
And what do you expect the Creole people them for support them one and they we want genuinely set for them family force, left them legacy, and see them freedom with them let become a city with them all to be proud of. Because notice most of the villages them when have been created from them. Now when you go, they not able to identify who they are Creole or this and that. But before, you didn't know when you go, you know the distinction, you know the culture, the tradition, the produce them, the set up, the say and say, yes, when you entire is not Creole. What do you expect Creole people them for do, especially within the diaspora, for help people them we want to go into politics and for help bring back that respect with the culture they get?
Okay. You asked me a long question, but first let's go to the one that went into politics. My hats off to them. To be honest, I'm a brave woman, but I don't know if I'm that brave. And you know some of the names, Ivonaki Soya, Dr. Bright, Femi Claudius Cole, and many, 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 many others. Some waking meets me and say, I have a heart to do politics. We your young brother, we come to London recently. So yes, they are pushing in their own way. And the thing is, we can always say Creole and politics, even within the union. We have 6 pillars, okay? We have education, health, and all that. But one of the one that we push for that we get now political watch. Where CSNDs and on pass where they say Creole people, they're not they mix pan politics. We got to stand up. We got to say, okay, basic rights of we land and all that. So therefore, that's one of the answers. The other answer is, again, when it comes to why people them, I think people are just, sometimes they're a little frustrated. Me, economics did better self, Missy brother. This last year, it's been a little trying. So I can imagine when you did it, then you probably supposed to affect you. You get our host when are you family host. Then boss in one land within near day, some politician come, they monitor you for that land day. It's real. And I think, say, you ask me a question, wait till we within at the diaspora for do. Now then we all make sure, say, we support, we family them. Yes, teeth and tongue must jam. No fumble, no they when teeth and tongue, no they jam. If anybody tell me say they, na lie, because he must they. But what will they do? I keep telling people, when I don't know what else for do, I can look me own life. I say the reason why I'm here, it's because of the people that were been on there before me. We plant the seed, including me own parents then. So now we are not doing it. Some of the people are not born there, they not ever lived there. But that doesn't mean we don't have to do what we have to do. So therefore, we go if we not live this, support. See what you could do. I mean, recently, without what's in Sierra Leone, I see what in Sierra Leoneans, concerned Sierra Leoneans do. And we are very, very happy. So therefore, but yes, it's certain thing we can to land, and there's a lot of political issues. So therefore, now that's I go say for let not forget. And we'll get this organization Krio Descendants Union. Everybody know how I feel. Now we begin. It is not in diaspora. You know they can hijack Krio Descendants Union. Saying that they're no more now. No, it is wrong. Very wrong. And if plaba then day, we get for such the plaba. But free tongue, nine are the parents' body, nine are we homestead. It's not going to change in history before we, it's not going to change that history after we. So do ya, on a we all get we safe, and lek we safe, and all we safe. So what do you expect for the rest of the weekend? Well, I want to relax, meet with a lot of people, encourage people. And just being here, I am encouraged because we self can get we own discouraged in times, for say, like I say, sometimes the support when it comes to membership, it cannot be so strong. And the part of the leadership, what you call your executive and all that, there are all challenges there, but we not get choice for continue this work.
And I'm also plenty of people watching right now. We don't get the feeling, say yes, indeed. This journey will not begin natural now for see, for help the culture, not only the culture, but for help the country. So I tell you, thank you one more time. Hopefully you get fun. Yes.
My pleasure. So nice meeting you.
What's your Latin name? Yeah, honor from Sekir. So I say honor from Sekir. This na Kadir. They mean say come. And it's na Modupe. We say I will praise God. So they're all the names. She calling them powerful, kindly. We means in a Incan second with them born picking them. Then okay, what are these? Ayodele, joy, don't come now. Oh, so remember, see, they get plenty name there, plenty meaning them. Una will not be known. F1 born on Friday, it's somehow linked to the Ghanaians. Then you get Talabi, born of purity. I don't call it Talabi man. I want that in English. Yes. Salabos, Alafia, peace of mind. So when I see them get plenty Abiose, that means that you born Sunday. So we they call person Abiose, we say you born Sunday. Abiodun, Ibidu mean that was sweet. That means the born being sweet. So plenty name in there. Plenty name in there. So we get some beads in there for the woman then. Handmade. Okay. So you see this where people they do wonderful work for. So you watch me on YouTube through your group. Let's say we get talented people inside the culture. You understand? What you with money they make them give you $2,000. I think that we can buy nice one. Very good.
Make beads.
Yes. So you need a play, handmade from a Krio woman. What's in your name? Williams, from whose chapter will you promote?
Dallas.
Dallas.
We
And the other day, and the host and the way. So when I see where it dress, TikTok, super. So you able to tell me what you wear, so? Mm-hmm.
Then they go to Kudebo Sunday. That's nice.
Yes.
Where they go to Kudong the white one. Yes.
And what you eat over so?
With dress.
And you see into other pattern and then name them. You're able to tell me the pattern name now. Okay, what you will get for the pineapple we get for so? Yes, it's a pineapple. Oh no, oh yes. So they call the in the criminal companies. Yes. Now in the snail, yes. It look like pineapple to me, make a big thing so. So don't let people see you. When I see get the how they call it grass art. Yes. Mm-hmm. Okay. Well, now the thing and the inside Dallas with this. And these are one of the hostel. Now in TikTok, so inside the Krio culture. More any can take over now.
Oh, is it live? Okay. Okay. If full at sister, we can see yourself your style. Wonderful. Let's see the front. Show me the front. Now, yes, so then show this on a salon. Na salon, okay. On a mind for tell you that the person we so for now. Okay, so it's okay. Well, say you did live na YouTube, right? Okay, so your sister go once for there, you give me the number for the one that we go on for make it so for them. Okay, well, you can tell me the number now. Oh, you don't know I'm off it. Yes, give me the number. So, find more customer them for your sister. But I like them more, and I like the, purple is my favorite color. Anything purple, I love. Yes, any fine. Let me see the back. Turn around. Let me see the back. Hey, look where the little fine for you. Then so I'm fine. So I wanna they enjoy all things. I would plenty work where they involve.
Yeah, the hardworking presidents, Mrs.
Yvonne, yes. Yes. Well, yes. Yes.
Where the COVID take over them in Canada. Wait all this time now for local get on Dallas.
Yes.
Dallas chapter with the kick off. Where for people that they can join me from all over the place.
Yes, that's wonderful. And I know say when I get plenty thing in store for what they can go to the our job. You do any of the cooking? Oh, you know cook. Okay. Okay. All kinds. Wow. Okay. What do you get for tell them family that we not come at all? We tell them what's in the miss.
We get the meet and greet. It first with 400 we did at the hall. It was very nice. Someone kind of dance from the young chapters there. Then today this morning we get the symposium. Now we can go for the big camp for the outdoor. Tomorrow tonight we get the dinner and dance. Then tomorrow
then I kill Babu monkey.
Tomorrow we get the Muslim prayer. Then we get the Christian prayer.
Yes.
Then we get the picnic and then I go say Tatsana Bye to all the guests that we come. Very, very impressed. We have over 600 guests that we show.
Wow.
Lord, thank you, we come.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Go back safely on our destination.
Let God hear you. Thank you very much. Amen. You able to get the number for we or you go give me a letter? March fashion. Okay. All right. The number, all right. Okay. You have got family mentuna yeri March fashion at the person where you can get the Reiki sofa if you wanna get the print and a tongue a day. So when I can reach out to them, I should say it go on a good price. Okay. Thank you very much. Yeah. Okay. I will see you on Nadia Ujo. Thank you. Bye. Fumble them. Yeah, road. I don't see one in North Carolina fumble where one fine print where like so they can show on this print. Come to the light. Can show fumble and this print. The print fine, the style fine. Now that's what you saw them on a free tongue. Na free tongue, okay. What about the material? Now yeah, you buy them on a free tongue. On a free tongue. Turn around, let me see the back. Fumble them on a see printing. Hey, look where it fine. And this na rest board, na board where they rest, right? What to say then column? Yes, na fine print. So now your favorite color this? Your favorite color. One of your favorites. Okay. I like that. The policy way so for you. You want for the policy way able so for other people them if people in column. Okay. Well, fine. We like them. How you dey enjoy all things so far? Very good. Okay. So I will look forward for see you later on at the other events then. Okay.
But we don't think about business in terms of product inventions, product development. And so when you leave here today, I would like you, if possible, go back, think about your grandmother, grandfathers, aunties and uncles, anything that they were doing, you might think of a way of improving, or anything they were throwing away as part of a process. Perhaps you can repurpose it, and we may be able to have other products like the rice cup with ginger flavor, but with ginger starch. Did I answer your question, sir? Well, in terms of carbohydrates, it's a carbohydrate. So eventually, it will convert to sugar, right? So whether you could use ginger starch to produce gin is another story, but it is a carbohydrate. Thank you for your comments. I'm not an expert in making ginger beer, by no means. Okay, so I was only interested in the repurposing of something that we've thrown away. And so I am sure there are other reasons why ginger beer is processed the way it's processed in our culture. But mainly I wanted to point to documentation, processes, and repurposing, all in the name of preserving our culture. So for me, the theme is preserving the Krio culture and a way of life. What are the things we should be thinking about? What are the things that we should be doing with respects to this preservation? Okay.
Thank you very much, Desmond. I shall say this don't give we plenty things for think about. You know, I'm used to this. This man can always call me and challenge me for think outside the box. And in that process, I make you get as many patents as you get. Anyway, these are all resources that we have to continue cultivating. You know, as I said, we have to start having seminars. As soon as I can see, we not do them justice. All the speakers there justice for letting just can't talk for a few minutes. We give them 15 minutes, but most, you see, they're not able to stop after 15 minutes. Anyway, now she's been patiently waiting. We have our next speaker, Ms. Rosalind Jones, who's going to talk about the impact of Krios in science and health science.
Hello, good afternoon. Yeah, my role here is to highlight on the contribution of some prominent in the field of medicine and sciences. Some of them already, it's going to be an overlapping description from our last speaker. The role of Sierra Leone Krio doctors in the advancement of Western medicine in Sierra Leone, West Africa. That's my topic. I feel most honored for this opportunity given to
Miss
me by
again,
this august body.
With Dennis Nelson Sita. Some of you remember we don't bring a camera yard road few months ago. Well, it is also back between Texas. It helped we for celebrate this KDU Global Reunion. Mr. Dennis, tell Famble them so far. First of all, who say you come Texas? Thursday. And are you first send this inside Texas, right? Okay. So far, when you come this reunion from the meet and greet to now, you don't see people them. You don't see people them way. You don't see plenty people the way don't say where you see. I'm sure. Definitely, do you remember they all?
Schoolmates, college mates.
So, Mr. Dennis Sita, I'll ask you back. Since you come Texas, you don't see plenty people where you don't say where you see. You able to remember them all?
I don't remember them by name, one by one. The Baku, I know, I see like a schoolmate to me to go please the world. From when let's go Gambia, after that to go Canada, about 40 years now, Mr. C. Faulkner. And now I go see me to Nayasu, we can see. I don't see a lot of people. Henry Coca, the man, and they come all from a piece of West School. That's why we can't see research so back in Ayaso. And a lot. I mean, I know regrets coming down here. It has been a wonderful reunion, meeting with so many people there.
And we just begin, you know, even go the Awujo yet. Because not all man can meet and greet. Not all man can the symposium. Wait till we go the dinner and dance. You will see boku people there. But so far you dey enjoy yourself, right?
I mean, as I seen, very first opportunity this for witness this particular KDU Global Forum. I think the format's very interesting, and the exchange of the palam at the start of the meet and greet was interesting. The introduction of the various chapters as the dancing normal get you on follow, it was interesting. And it's been a long time I not see such a gathering of this many Krio. I wonder if anyone left that tongue.
That is, oh yeah. So the Awujo, I hope say you angry because the Awujo they boku eat they for eat. So ready you belle, we don't ready to eat for una for eat. Just ready you belle, and make sure say you get enough rest because you know what to do. The dinner and dance tonight. I hope say they look forward to that one day. That one day you with the dance till morning. So you
I'm not gonna exhaust my style.
I hope say the time go long enough for you for pull all your style the way you get. But after that, not forget to Sunday, you get after you don't rest, Sunday you get for wake for go church. And by God's power, I hope say you go enjoy the service. I thank you so much for doing this interview with me. And sometimes I go get for interview you back when we go to Awujo or sometime tomorrow at the church.
I give people a bad name because if I go meet Kasada Lipo Bitas, we not done, I go talk.
Go talk now that's me bad. If you see something, talk but I sure say you will enjoy the food. Thank you so much, Mr. Dennis.
Thank you.
Dr. Nico got his medical degree from London Hospital of Medical College and is widely known for his knack in scholarship. The contributions of Krio doctors during the contemporary medical practice in Sierra Leone is quite impactful. As such, names of Krio doctors became household names in the country. As I've already enumerated most of those names, you know. During the Ebola outbreak, prominent Sierra Leonean doctors, of which most of them were Krios, lost their lives. And I would like us to observe a moment of silence for all those doctors, especially those who lost their lives during the Ebola outbreak. Can we all observe a moment of silence? May their faithful soul rest in peace. And one of those prominent doctors who also lost their life during the Ebola was Dr. Willoughby. He made an immense contribution in medicine in Sierra Leone. He wasn't only a medical doctor, he was also a medical instructor at the School of Medicine. As well as Dr. Bach, who was a female physician, who was a senior medical provider at a clinic in Lumley, who also lost their lives during the Ebola outbreak. Excuse me? Okay. Okay. In science, even though this is not medical science, I also would like to highlight the contribution of Dr. Monty Jones. As you know, rice is our staple food. And I happened to research when I was in grad school, found out that Dr. Monty Jones made a breakthrough to develop a breed of rice that had high yield. It combined the generic rice of Africa and Asia, which is also widely, they eat rice a lot, and came up with this breed that had high yield and also was drought resistant. As a result of that, the farmers in Africa, it reduces poverty and increases food production. And he shared that prize with another Asian professor of $250,000. That was also a very big accomplishment of a Krio in science. And at some point, he went to Sierra Leone and contributed in the Sierra Leone government, and I think he was made Minister of Agriculture. So we want to recognize Dr. Monty Jones' contribution to food production in the world, and he wrote a lot of articles and publications for West African Rice Development Association, the headquarters which is based in Ivory Coast. Yeah, so it's one of those prominent Sierra Leoneans who also contributed in science. You know, if you don't eat well, you won't get good health. So the combination of a scientist who can produce rice, when you eat a sound mind in a sound body, so we're able to get good health from his own discovery of that good yield of rice. Like I said, I can go on and on and on the contributions of Krio in medicine and sciences. When we reflect in Frabe College, I believe about 75% of the professors in Frabe College in the field of engineering and science were mostly dominated by the Krios. And as we say, third or fourth generation of our Krio generation, what do we want to do to continue this legacy? KDU Texas, what we did when all those physicians died, we decided to set up a medical scholarship fund to train young Sierra Leonean children who can also become doctors and replace, the medical providers in Sierra Leone. And I want to let you all know that the very first recipient of that scholarship graduated from the School of Medicine and Allied Health Science in Sierra Leone, Dr. Jacinta Coker. And she's now doing a residency in Sierra Leone. So in conclusion, in maintaining the Creole hegemony in the field of medicine in Sierra Leone, it is imperative that we continue to encourage our younger generation to pursue courses in medicine, as KDU Texas have already taken the lead. But as an individual organization, we cannot accomplish much. If we do it together, we'll create a greater impact. So we should be thinking of establishing a diaspora scholarship fund to help our young generation to study medicine. To borrow a page from the Latin adage, not for self, but for others. Remember, the wealth of a nation is sometimes measured by the health of her people. I would like to pause, but we are here, most of us travel a lot to Sierra Leone, and I cannot emphasize the deplorable condition of the healthcare system in Sierra Leone. I have witnessed it, and other friends and family have also witnessed it. I've given selfless duties to children in and Sierra Leone who are born with a disease where they have to have an ostomy, and the parents don't even have the colostomy bags. I have to advocate here to get organization to donate it through Caritas in Sierra Leone. I don't think we even have up to 5 providers in the US to do this colostomy and wound care. So those of us who have specialty in those areas, I would encourage that we go home and try to train the local nurses there. Even though they have limited resources, but they will use what is available to them to provide the best quality of care. And one day sometime we will also be there in Sierra Leone, we will need those care. So I'm just throwing that appeal to all the Sierra Leoneans in the diaspora to see what we can do to improve in health care. I know we cannot solve all the problems there, but we can do as much. We can make a difference. You know, when we go on vacation, we can give our time to help those who need. Like we said, health is wealth. So I really want to applaud all the Creoles who have contributed to the field of science and medicine. And I thank you all for listening.
Thank you very much, Rosalind. That's a call to action right there. Well, I think we've come to the end of this section where we've heard from all these experts here about, you know, the impacts that Creoles have made in Sierra Leone. And I hope that we've taken a lot from it and that we can continue to build on it. But talking about building on it, we now have our young professionals. They're Krio offsprings who are here, doing well here. And we think that they have a lot to tell us of, okay, now that you guys have done all these things, where do we go from here? We're going to pass the baton on to you guys. So I'm going to call up Mr. Conrad John as a moderator. Come and take over. Let me tell you a little bit about Mr. John. Mr. John Esquire. Okay. Mr. John is a graduate from the University of Texas at Austin with a degree in government and economics. And then he obtained a law degree from Thurgood Marshall School of Law at Texas Southern University in Houston, Texas in 2016, and shortly became a licensed attorney. He met his wife, Brittany, also an attorney in law school, and they've been married for 3+ years. Mr. John has 7 years of government and litigation experience in the areas of legislation, commercial and business litigation, insurance litigation, labor and employment, and arbitration. He is deeply grateful to his parents. I was about to say Mr., but no, now he's Dr. Winston John, and his wife, Moke, Patricia John, for the incredible sacrifices they've made for his educational and personal development. Please welcome Conrad John Esquire.
Thank you, Uncle Joe. Thank you so much, and we appreciate and deepest gratitude and thanks to KDU Global for allowing us to come and speak, and as offsprings of KDU, we are truly grateful to be up here. Without further ado, I want to introduce other members of the panel who I'm truly honored to share the stage with, who I grew up with, and been a witness to their journeys. So I'm going to call on a few individuals to come up here to share their knowledge, their insight on a few of these topics that we have presented to you today. So without further ado, I want to introduce Mrs. Jennifer Parr. Mrs. Jennifer Parr is a gifted communicator who is passionate about two things: Christ and culture. She was born in Nigeria to Nigerian and Sierra Leonean parents who came to the United States at 5 and fell in love with the language arts and communication. She earned a Bachelor's of Arts in Communication and Public Relations and went on to develop over 10 years of experience working in both corporate and non-profit sectors. Her most recent role includes serving as communication lead at Toyota Motor North America headquarters here in Dallas, Texas. She is now the co-founder of Let's Equip Incorporated, a non-profit ministry dedicated to providing tools, training, and teaching for life. She's a devoted wife, mother, and in her spare time, she loves to travel, explore all things cultured, and work towards the advancement of the diaspora. So give her another round of applause. Our other panelist is Dr. Christopher Emden. Mr. Emden was born in Texas to a mother from Freetown, Sierra Leone, and father from Lagos, Nigeria. He's an entrepreneur, coach, and clinician. He graduated with a doctorate of dental surgery in 2015 from Texas A&M University, Baylor College of Dentistry. He has a drive to encourage and coach people who are willing to follow their inner dreams to build profitable and sustainable businesses so their missions can be better fulfilled within the world. Dr. Emden has owned multiple dental offices in 2 different Texas cities and currently has a cosmetic dental business in the heart of Houston, Texas named Bite Dentistry. So give another round of applause for Mr. Emden. Our next panelist, Ms. Jacqueline Tucker. Now, Ms. Tucker is a second-generation Sierra Leonean, born and raised in Dallas, Texas, to a Krio mother and Krio Mende father, a certified physician assistant. She graduated from SMU in 2009 with a Bachelor's of Science in Biology and a Bachelor's of Arts in Spanish. In 2013, she received her Master's of Physician Assistant Studies at UT Southwestern Medical Center and later moved to New York City, working full-time at the Mount Sinai Hospital and part-time at Borican Neighborhood Health Center. I said that right? Borican, okay. And providing care for minority infants, children, and adolescents in East Harlem community. Back in the Dallas area, Ms. Tucker is currently employed at Parkland Hospital. She is fluent in Spanish. She enjoys traveling, learning about different cultures, and she considers herself a big foodie. So I'm sure she was happy about the rice bread that was presented today. Another one of our panelists who's not here with us today, but he's back home in Freetown, Sierra Leone. His name is David Squire. We have a video to present to you so he could talk about his experiences and his knowledge. So Mr. Squire, he was born and raised in Hastings, Sierra Leone. He did his primary education at the REC Primary School, Hastings, and the FTC Primary School in Jewett Coastal Town. He attended the Methodist Boys High School, which he completed successfully as the head boy in 2014. He is currently a final year medical student at the College of Medicine and Allied Health Sciences at the University of Sierra Leone, and he is a beneficiary of the KDU Texas Medical Scholarship Awards. In addition to this, Mr. Squire is also the founder of Growth Matters Foundation, a community-based organization focused on inspiring minds. So give a round of applause for Mr. Squire. He's not here with us today, but here in spirit. So Uncle Joe, if you want to play the video for Mr. Squire, so he can talk about his experiences, and have a seat.
Okay. So greetings to KDU Global and KDU Texas, to be specific. I give my heart to the presidents and all executive members of KDU Texas Medical Scholarship Awards. I send special greetings to all donors of the scholarship awards. Your donations have been life-changing for us. So I am David Square. I'm a final year medical student. Through the grace of God, I am also a beneficiary of the KDU Medical Scholarship Awards. So, all I can say is that for now, studying medicine is challenging in a sense. It requires your attention, it requires your determination. And studying medicine in Sierra Leone is it's kind of difficult, especially when there are lots of financial challenges. You find it very frustrating. So I realized it's not about just gaining entrance into university. It's not about just you paying school fees. But in order for you to prepare successfully through the medical course, you have to be financially strong. In a sense, you must be able to afford basic transportation, you must be able to buy all those expensive books, you must be able to buy the equipment and your laptop and other stuff that are required. So when my first 3 years in the university, I was struggling with finances. So I decided to apply for the scholarship. It came up, and I want to commend the entire scholarship awards committee. I want to commend the entire scholarship committee in the sense that they are the most genuine institution, the most genuine organization that I have ever witnessed.
Okay. Okay, thank you very much. Miss AC, I tell you thank you when you agree for do this Yard Road interview with me. Tell people them who that you be and whose chapter you come out.
Being the Secretary General for KDU Maryland and being the outgoing Secretary General for KDU Global. So they are so today.
Who send you come Texas?
You can Texas Friday morning.
Friday morning. So from where you come, you don't see people the way you don't say where you see, because now that's all man they say.
That's another statement. I don't see people who go primary school with.
Wow.
People who go secondary school, I see me neighbor them. We are not able to recognize, and then they call me by me. The artist name, we should say they sabi me well.
Wow. And I sure say that feel good when you reunite with and people and it. So another thing I want to ask you so far, tell family them waiting and waiting you don't see where you glad for from where you come.
Culture, we need to go to culture. Mr. Afna can tell we that the symposium, all them people them, Krio people them, think the way they don't do. We want for make we continue. And then Mr. Fraser come, we can test 2 types of rice bread then. The regular rice bread. And then the other rice bread, where we force them people and can make ginger beer. That's starch. We can the ginger beer, where you can don't settle. They add that one into the rice bread. Oh, you tell the difference between them 2 things in it. So next time we're not going to throw away that ginger beer. The bottom we can stay there for just like settle the train, and then you get for taken out. Adam, by your rice bread mixture, you feel the king pan up. You taste the ginger and the rice bread.
That's good to know. And that's something new done the way me say flan. I know they know that. So what thing you they look what you they look forward to today and tomorrow?
The dance this evening. There's a big surprise.
Wow.
We get for this one. They encourage everyone. If you made a plan, say you want sleep after the lunch on still. Not sleep, oh, not sleep. Can't only you can see what's in global. They do.
Wow.
Nayasu with Texas. We get a very big surprise. I know go just tell on a number. Una just come along, una can see.
So can't wait
Una
for
can
that.
see the surprise.
And what about tomorrow?
Oh, tomorrow we can showcase them cabasons and then petticoats and the carpet slippers them. But they can say how for tie aid. We get them big hats there, then we grass hats them.
Yes.
Una can see. So the culture goes on and on and on. You go see cabaslots, you go see the shimmy how they keep in color. You go see you just can't normally you can see fashion.
So they want the way not join any of the KDU chapter yet. What do you go get for tell them?
This why so I encourage everybody. And also we create not one for with a try for hide. Come out on a friend any local chapter within our area, on a join them. For we picking them. Let we show picking them with culture. We will get picking we just married so they don't know some of the culture. So they get difficulty with picking them when they camp in that area day. Because if they don't know we culture, they're not going to put a big fight with we. For say we not family. We family get for deal with we for celebrate. So at the big una any Krio any side with you, as long as your mama na Krio, we just need one parent. Your mama na Krio, your papa na Krio, you married to Krio, you na Krio descendants.
That's right.
So at the big una, do you have any corner una can join KDU?
Miss AC, I tell you thank you very much. I know say I will see you around. Sometime who knows, sometime later on or sometime tomorrow I go get for interview you back so we can tell people them how things they go. I thank you very much for your time and continue for have fun, okay? Thank you. Bye.
Here has to be accessible. So I want to commend the KDU scholarship awards where they help for trained doctors. And this will benefit we all in the near future. Let's forget quite a number of doctors then will go ready to provide accessible care to people then. Medical care has to be accessible and not only accessible but affordable. Okay? So like the people if me family them come to me for care, we not go come charge them, let's say when a family we no go charge them say na 2 million. That is exploitation. No go exploit when people there. When they go other side, they go and facilitate them, they can be exploited there. In fact, sometimes the care not going to be accessible, not quality. You understand the point? So this is one of the ways them we are able to say the care they try extremely well. We try to provide doctors them we will meet the needs of we family them, and the nation as a whole. Okay, so another thing personally, me over the years I realized I believe in this domino effect. One person help you, get to another person, other person, something like that. Okay, so I started this organization. It's a community-based organization. I started it 4 years back. So Attestings community. platform in which we organize a spelling competition, quiz competition for both primary and secondary school picking them. So they will come and share ideas, share knowledge, and we can get fine prizes there for the picking them. Not only prizes that more matter, but the beginner always look forward to this every year at the community. We could make it free for the picking them. They always look just to do anything or because the kind of academic organization there, so they're not working on the community. So some of we come together, we say no, let we organize that here for the picking there also, and let the benefits from. So for the past 4 to 5 years now, has been working extremely well and making them. So that will be very impressive. So I really thank the KDU for all the support over the years, and I pray that God will continue to provide for the donors and everyone who are involved in this scholarship award. So once again, I thank you. I get a lot to say, but I just want to cut them short. Yeah, now thank you so much. Thank you.
Was great. Now, moving forward, first I want to acknowledge before we came on how great they were in listening to their stories, to their journeys, and learning more of the history of those topics, and with the issue of bridging the gap and passing the baton. That I hope that this dialogue between everybody, that we can learn more from the generations ahead, that we can carry on and pass the baton. So with that being said, to continue on with the discussion of health and science, I'm going to ask Ms. Tucker to speak on her experiences and her knowledge. Specifically, my question is Ms. Tucker, how would you describe the unique cultural aspects of the Krio community that have influenced your experience in health and science?
Hi, good afternoon. Thank you, Conrad. So, growing up to Krio, with a Krio mother and Krio Mende father, I really grew up, they really instilled a lot of discipline in me. Discipline and hard work. As you've seen with all our Krio panelists up here, and all the PowerPoints about everybody, the engineers, the medical doctors, we've contributed so much to the world, not even just Sierra Leone, the world. Like my great granduncle, Dr. Davidson Nickel, he contributed to the science of insulin, and here I am prescribing insulin, teaching my patients how to use insulin every day, and that came simply from my great-great-granduncle. So all that to say, the discipline, the hard work, mi grani, imenmi, and okay, excuse my Krio, but all the time you've been there telling me, you get for lambuk, you get for lambuk, you get for lambuk. So that's like been instilled in me all these years, and I de lam me book. I still de lam me book. I still de read me book. I love reading. Even just like, we have continuing medical education days with my job, and I'll just like spend the whole day just researching, reading, and that's fun to me. I don't know, people may think I'm boring, but I'm like, this is fun. Like, I love learning, so I want to use like the hard work that was instilled in me and just further it into my career, but not just my career, like helping individuals in Salon across the world. I have the gift of language, so I love language. Así de la mi Krio, so, and then yo hablo español también, so I feel like it's a good way to reach out to people, get on their level, and just educate and make a difference in the world. So yeah.
I want to add anything to that?
I'll just add briefly about the importance of communication and how communication is a bridge. And so, Conrad, I know you have a question for me, but I'll segue into that by saying the three things that I'm passionate about is Christ, culture, and communication. And as a Christ follower, the word of God that we read is the written word of God. And the only way that we know that is that it's been passed down from generation to generation. And so I want to ask each of you here, while technology has changed the way we communicate, I know our generation contributed a lot to that change. I mean, now, who's familiar with Chat GPT? Have you heard of that? I literally typed in what to talk about for a panel discussion, and it scripted my entire speech for me. So while technology has advanced communication, there is something to be said about written communication. So I want to ask each of you here, what legacy are you preserving that is written, typed, or something that can be passed down to our generation? And I just want to encourage you to not forget about written. I mean, we look at the Bible, it was the written word of God that was inspired. We look at history, and even some of the research that was shared was written research. And so 3 ways I think we can do that is food. How many of you in here have children? Raise your hand. Okay, hands down. How many of you in here would trust your child's Creole cooking? Oh, I know my mom should not put her hand up because I know she does not trust my cooking. But as our generation, a cookbook is a way to start. Now, I know many of you will look around and say, oh, it's too much to write. How do you even capture the 1 cup, 1 teaspoon, But try, because we are depending on your knowledge to keep the generation going. So food is the first one, and that's just where I'll start. Thank you. That's where I'll start, because now I have 2 kids, a 5 and a 6-year-old, and I'm starting. It takes intentionality to write things down. It takes time. But how will they know? Even just something simple as the ginger in the rice bread. If I were to tell them that, they would be like, ginger is too much starch. Starch is not good for you. But do you see the flavor it added? If you taste it, you see the flavor, and that flavor is connected to our history of ginger with Sierra Leone. So I just want to encourage everyone here to think of what can you preserve through written communication that can be passed down to the next generation.
That was great, and I agree with you. My cooking is terrible, but something like that can definitely help keep the Creole culture going through us, because we plan to do that. And in doing so, like Jennifer said, is giving us those tools to keep it going. Now, Chris, I have a question for you. What are the challenges and opportunities for Creole youth interested in pursuing entrepreneurship in today's globalized world, Jennifer spoke on ChatGPT and things in technology. How can those things, how can those challenges be addressed?
All right, thank you. So first, before I even go into the question that Conrad told me, I want to make sure that, I share this. There's no other person I would rather be than being a person born to a Creole and Nigerian human. I love who I am. Even as I look in this room, I see certain people. There's certain childhood memories, like there's a community that really raised us. There's certain memories that are there. I can see Auntie Tina. I can remember going to, soccer games with the son. I could see Auntie Jackie. I remember going to church. Conrad, before I married my wife, he was in law school. He would let me go sleep at his apartment so I won't be at Michelle's house before I married her. You remember that, right? The community, no furniture, but we made it work. We made it work, and I wouldn't trade it for anything else. So I'm really glad to be who I am. I just wanted to share it. Yeah. And then as far as challenges and I would say opportunities, because I really like that too. I'll start with the opportunities. One thing my mom did, I always say is the best gift she's given my sister and I was she made us travel. So I remember going to Freetown. I was 12 years old. And I remember what I saw and experienced. We were able to go to the amputee camps and all the thing. I remember on the way back, I was like, okay, from here on out, I will not complain again. I'm going to do the dental school. I'm going to do it. At that point, nothing was going to stop me from achieving the thing. And complaining about all the things I kind of, would complain about before. So the opportunities that I believe that we have is that we have a background of people who have come and withstood a lot. That is an advantage to anything, especially when it comes to the entrepreneurial world. That grit is needed because you will fail over and over. So that is an opportunity. Challenges. I would start with, as West African kids, we have the 4 careers that we need to pick from. And kind of if you don't fit in those 4, you didn't really, it wasn't a success. I have the opportunity to say that I went through one of the 4, and I'll say I exceeded. Very well, I exceeded. And then afterwards, I was like, okay, and then what? That means there's a lot more other than just getting the education. So I say number 1 is thinking, and to think bigger. Whenever I speak, it's not specifically to you, but it's to the seed, it's to the next generation. It's Jennifer's kids, it's my children. Now it's like, whatever I am, that's what I'm wanting them to see. So expansion of mind. How big we think. Instead of having mama papa shop, is there only one target? Just to start from there. It's not one target. That part is, and then when you now grow in that mind frame, it becomes very uncomfortable being around the things and the thoughts that you were around growing up. This is a challenge, experiencing it. I would say another challenge which can turn into an opportunity is right here, a few people down. Me, I didn't know Dr. Desmond. I didn't know he exists. And he is me. I am like right now. He can tell me something that will help decrease 5 years of me wasting time in my life. But I didn't know that he exists. So awareness, that's both on our sides. Awareness, the mentorship, which says, and coaching, I've now seen to be the thing that has changed my life, because it could be one sentence that someone tells me that, will help me not mess up on a surgery. Serious. I will pay anything. I will pay I will pay a large amount not to have made that mistake. And people are out there who are willing to give that information to the next and the next. And I really think we can skip generations when we do get that information and act upon it. Within one generation, you can skip generations. Is there anything else to the question? I know I'm kind of... But yeah, the way... How can I challenge to be addressed? Okay. I really believe entrepreneurs really can help change the world. And I say that because economics plays a role in everything. I'm a doctor or a dentist, so I do a lot of procedures. And I noticed that at times it'll even be hard for me to continue running my practice because I haven't paid attention to the finances. So if there's no margin, there's no mission. I tell you that right. It's in everything. You must understand how the money is working and flowing. We can no longer be afraid of that. Matter of fact, we attack that. That's what we look at. I no longer look at accolades. Have all the medicine, the doctor. It's great. But I do want to see, if there's a purpose bigger than just obtaining degrees, to say, okay, what's really hurting the heart of you individually? Me is poverty. I have trouble watching this guy. So being a dentist is too small. This is what keeps me up at night. This is making me work different, think different, even though I don't know fully where I'm going. But I'm going, and it's scary. But I'm going. That type of mind frame, I think, I don't know how. This is God. I don't know how, but I believe that can help change with time. It'll just help improve things a bit quicker, I believe, than where we're going now. I think that's really all I have to say. I just want to see more wealthy West Africans, period. I'm tired of poverty. I'm sick of it. I'm done. Yeah, I'm done.
Thank you, Chris. Thank you for that. Kind of switching lanes a little bit and opening up the questions to all of you. I think, Jennifer, you already kind of touched on it, but
The death is announced of Mrs. Esther Yetunde Coker, who passed away on Sunday, 27 August, 2023 in New York, United States of America. Funeral arrangements will be announced later.
And I am half Nigerian, half Sierra Leonean. And there's always competition. You've heard of jollof rice wars, you have Ghanaian jollof, you have Nigerian jollof, you have Cameroonian, Senegalese. Senegal even entered the competition. Where was Salon? Like, where was Sierra Leone? Do you know how good our jollof is? We know it's the best. It's the best, but it was not in the competition. It wasn't even mentioned. So I want us, like Christopher talked about, our standard of excellence. Everything we do should represent two things. Who you serve, for me, it's Jesus, and your culture. When people hear me speak, they say, oh, you speak so well. I don't really know what that means. Why would I not speak well? But because I am an educated Nigerian, Sierra Leonean woman, period. As if Africans cannot speak well, as if we don't deserve to be in the room. So think about, raise your standard of excellence based on who you represent. I represent Christ. I serve an excellent God. So when I speak, hopefully it reflects that. And so our music, our food, our jollof, everything should be on the level or the exposure as my other side, which is the Nigerians, the Ghanaians, all of them. So I just want us to think bigger. There's no reason why this room should not be filled with people. There's no reason. So anything you do before you are about to submit that email, submit that draft, submit that presentation, does it reflect excellence? I stand on the shoulders of my mom and dad. My mom, Winnie, my dad, Lugard. They modeled excellence. They didn't model being rich. They didn't model anything that is materialistic. They modeled excellence, whether that is being excellent at home, excellent at school, excellent within yourself, but that is a reflection of the culture. And so, I want each of you to celebrate Salon culture and then raise that bar, like Christopher said, in excellence. So written communication, mindset, excellence, and then the third and final thing, which should come easy to all of us, is fashion. It's fashion. We are just as capable as being in the conversation through our art, our prints. That is how this print has been passed down. And it's beautiful. It reflects the beauty of our culture, our skin, our smile. Smile more. Women, we have beautiful smiles. Smile. It reflects the beauty in our women and our culture. So those are just the three things that I, as someone who just has seen our generation hustle, but also want to be different, is to raise that bar, that standard of excellence. Everything we should be done with excellence. And that is because us four who represent this next generation stand on your shoulders. Thank you.
Okay. To piggyback on what Jennifer said, funny story. My mom back there, Moke John, she grabbed my wife, who's American, and a couple of months ago and gave her a cooking lesson. So, to example of passing the culture down, my wife came home with 2 full bowls of granite soup and fry soup, and I still don't know how to cook it, but in terms of passing that on, I was fully satisfied. So that's a point of example for that. At this time, once again, thank you to Jennifer, Chris, and Jacqueline for their insight. At this time, I want to open up the floor to any questions for anybody that have, for anybody on the panel. Sure.
In response to your earlier comments about the need for us to pass down the culture in a written form, but then since we're passing down to the next generation who are really high tech more than most of us, one thing I've noticed is that it is already happening, the passing of the culture. If you go to YouTube, they can teach you how to cook, they can teach you how to wrap your head dress. Almost anything you want to learn about culture, you can probably find on YouTube. And I think that's a more accessible form of technology than even the written form.
Yes, that's good.
Anybody have questions for the panel? We have a question.
A quick. Yeah. Trader Joe's jollof.
Trader Joe's jollof.
Good. That's true.
And it smiles.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you. Well, thank you. Person only take something, and they hand over again, and they pass them. Or they take them, and they think that the conscious effort for say one sustain this Krio or one transform one pass them to pick them na effort from we. Normally, any tool no learn na school, only do well panam. And the school curriculum will not do Krio nothing. Even we say civics and the simple storytelling when I in they teach we all the time, Coney Rabbit, spider, bad no good, this and that. Day again. So the faults they pay. We the pre-war people, now we get the fault. We're not able to teach the picking them. Now we forced the lapse. Now we forced it in America now, or even in Salon. Create people and the feds for talk English to them picking our us, that make them hold on to the Krio. Now, fried rice, they now, as I see, even in terms of the food, in terms of the dress, the prints itself, what they wear and today, now Salon, now different pattern. When I look the prints of the young people, then what they wear, look my own. A print. No way, this not been this before. So now technology don't add. And the present young generation are then fast by technology. They know they at par with them parents them. They know they communicate as I see. Then divide. Trust no the nothing no the mama slow for the picking fast for the mama. You see, so now the problem that so it's not conscious efforts. KDU, I think, for SIDOM and plan this thing for say yes, we want for make use for sustain this culture. What's we for do? One person or they think waiting for those forum like this to forget some more and more. Then we can see them. Me not be able to answer that now. For saying a so for doing a so kiddy, though for me to picking them. But me no say one thing they overlook is African saloon culture na oral culture. We not sabi about book. We not sabi write. We dey pass them to people them. Whereas this present generation a pop computer fast, everything already ready made. You go now for cook rest na electric. Just put the water, you put the rest, you cover them, you go waka. When you come, the rest don't cook for himself. The lights don't go off. It don't make pop. That means the rest don't done. For pull, you see, so the line day, and I tell you, waiting make we country the lag behind are because of the neglect of culture. We know the transfer, we know the left behind. And any country, any society, we neglect culture, by the national plan and the endeavors, then they build all spantaps and some. Unless we go back to the culture, we go revisit whatever Kasada leave for cooker, difficult. The ingredients don't now don't change. So I think to say me first thing, now for let we agree. Krio, KDU for agree say yes. Next, let's agree, accept, then initiate, love, and we move forward. There seems to be the common thread between the older generation of us and the younger generation. I've heard them all share. And so I want to connect mentoring and entrepreneurship. An example is here with us today. I started mentoring a young man 3 years ago. And the idea was to help him sell his business. All of us have experiences that we can pass on. Yes, we talk about food and culture, but I think some of you are accountants, tax accountants, lawyers, engineers, various different professions. I think it's important that we
left me the work.
to the younger generation, or even the younger older generations who might want to start their business. Some of the older generations may retire or retiring, as is usually in the United States. People retire and start a new business in the company. And that also happens earlier. A lot of our folks work in the government, and after government service,
The death is announced of Mrs. Esther Yetunde Coker, who passed away on Sunday, 27 August, 2023 in New York, United States of America. Funeral arrangements will be announced later.